JSU football fans.
Great day to be a Tiger. JSU by 40 campaign. Coach Taylor, I was just thinking, I was sitting in my office and we were talking about Jackson State athletics, the tradition of Jackson State. You played here. What if 50,000 alums gave $40 a month for 12 months?
Man, that would be huge. That's money in the bank for athletic program.
Let's do this, Coach. I'm challenging all 50,000 alumni of Jackson State University, supporters, fans. Let's give $40 a month to JSU by 40 campaign. 12 months, 12 million, September to August. Let's win championships in the classroom. Let's support Jackson State University. Let's support athletics. And let's make sure our coaches and our student athletes are successful. So again, Coach Taylor and I are challenging you, all 50,000 alums, $40 a month for 12 months to support Jackson State athletics. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Support the JSU by 40 campaign. Visit gojsutigers.com/JSU by 40.
You're muted. You're muted.
There it is. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, man. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. What's up, Tiger?
What's up, the I Love family?
I see Mo. I see you in the back there, brother. We'll bring you on when it's time to get active with this thing, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Man, I don't like my light, by the way. Something's off. But anyway, we're going to make it do what it do. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Action-packed show tonight, man. Action-packed show tonight. Going to jump into a couple of preliminaries, just kind of set it up real quick. And we'll have our guest on in about 8 minutes. Got a couple of preliminaries to get out the way. That's right, sis. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and join the channel. If you're not a channel member, we need your membership. Go ahead and click that link to join the channel, man. Every membership. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely, man. But I'm going to just go ahead and put that out there now. So, yeah, man, action-packed show. We got a long night, a lot to talk about, a lot going on. And I'll just say this, moderators, it's going to be a fun show. So if you see any funny stuff in the chat, y'all go ahead and zap that thing, man. We're not going to play that tonight. So, anywho, we'll get it rocking and rolling here in just a minute. Real quick, friends of KC-1400 Inc., y'all know we do have a foundation. 501c3, just getting started, really getting ramped up with this thing. Not really got a whole lot happening, but we have done some small initiatives and looking to do greater things with this thing even further. So, what's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
But nevertheless, we want to shout out our partners, the Hattiesburg Management Group. We want to shout out Cannon Toyota of Vicksburg. Shout out to Clay. Shout out to Billy. Shout out to Greg, the crew over there. Keep us rolling. Cannon Toyota. I want to shout out Auto Masters. Shout out to Brother Timothy Poe, Brother Terrence Miles. Y'all make sure y'all go to www.automasters.com if you're looking to grab a nice vehicle. Get with them. Let them know what you're looking for. They'll go find it. They'll go get it for you. And they local. They're right here in Jackson, Mississippi. So
yes, sir.
appreciate them and their alums, you know, and they rock with the channel, been down with us since day one, and they got active with us, and we appreciate them for that. Still got Irv Mulligan t-shirts, man. Still got them out there. Y'all go to KC-1400media.com. And 1 second, let me text this link real quick to I guess.
You good. And look, while you doing that, look, yeah, we got some more Irv Mulligan shirts available. Just go ahead and tell y'all, why not go ahead and cop the leading rusher in the swag at season's end next year. Go ahead and jump on that train early.
That's right, bro. I'm sorry.
Are you good, man? But look, doing that, man. Look, it's blue and white week, man. We got a lot of activities going on, man. In the morning, in the AM, man. We got the Ashley Robinson golf.
I'm gonna tell you. I actually got it on the slide. We'll keep rolling.
Okay.
Hold on before you go there. Real quick. Let's touch on our guests real quick. I ain't want to steal your thunder because I got all that.
Look, yeah, we got Rod White coming up, man. Actually, excuse me, he's currently the head baseball coach at Dillon University. Coming up talking baseball. You know, we're going to actually end up having Mo come on too. But Rod is connected, as you can see, man. He's the CEO of the National Scouting Director of the National Scouting Bureau. Real plugged in with all HBCUs and all talent through HBCUs. And let me tell you, outside of men and women's basketball, a sport that we have great success in, and we saw that earlier this week with Southern beating the defending national champion LSU Tigers 12-7. Baseball is one of our better competitive sports. And then granted, we aren't like we are in baseball like all the others, but when we talk about the talent that we have, you know, Southern had a Golden Spikes Award winner. You guys may say, what is that? It's Ricky Weeks. That's the equivalent of winning the Heisman Trophy, you know what I'm saying, on the D1 baseball level. And Southern University actually had players to do that. We've had tons of players get drafted from HBCUs, and we have current major leaguers directly from HBCUs right now. So baseball is a really, really good sport for us that we can actually grow in. And we have a knowledgeable coach who's a current HBCU coach in the fold coming on the show.
That's right, man. Good stuff. We're going to bring him on. Amazing platform that they have that you touched on. We're going to bring him on. He's going to be on at 9:15, and we're going to go ahead. Mo, what's up, Mo? Mo going to be, our baseball expert on with us tonight. Got to have him on. Mo, what's up with you, brother?
What's going on, man? Speaking
up, Mo?
Hey, man, we staying off the baseball. Hey, but hey, listen, but a couple more preliminaries real quick, and then we'll
dive right in.
We'll get ready to bring our guest on. But afterwards, at the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to bring on the National Alumni Association president, the 20th Madam President, Ms. Patrice Edwards. She'll be on with us tonight, and we're looking to bring Brother Cedric Myers on possibly Monday. So we're not into politics, but we definitely into Jackson State and National Alumni. So we want to feel like it would be a great opportunity to use the platform to come on, get their message across, and we look forward to having her on 10 o'clock tonight. We'll definitely have her up. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll go from there. Oh, man, real quick, man, the 2024 Young Gifted and Empowered Awards. I want to send a huge shout out to our very own athletic director, Mr. Ashley Robinson, for being the 2024 Young Gifted and Empowered Leader of the Year. My goodness, man. That is definitely a powerful accolade to add to his repertoire of other ones. You know what I mean? So congratulations to A.D. Robinson. I'll pause and let you guys say a quick little tidbit for him, and then we'll keep moving. Got to be quick, though. You on mute, bro.
He's the best in the game.
My bad. I was just saying, man, A.D. Robinson, man, just consistent with it. Stay winning. And it speaks to the consistency that he's shown. And it ain't going to stop no time soon, man. We got some more stuff coming down the fold, so stay tuned.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations to A.D. Robinson. Definitely. We'll be out there playing, out there with him in the morning, and we definitely will give him his flowers when we see him. So keep up the great work. Keep doing what you do. SWAC hitter of the week for the softball team, man. We want to give a huge shout out to Miss Jace Jackson. Congratulations to her for her stellar play and getting recognized by the SWAC. Keep up the great work, and we're going to continue to support women's softball. I like this one. We're gonna come back to this. I did want to just kind of put this out there. I've never seen anything like this. Shout out to our new SID, Mr. Travis Jerome. Travis come over to us from Alabama State. Zoe and Mo, he put out I'm pretty sure TD may be up at some point. He put out this tweet yesterday, and he said, "So, I love family. What do you want to see different or new on the communication side? Few new ideas, but what say you basically? Only real tangible things, and to be safe, DM me your responses so the world doesn't have to know and I don't have to hide them." So listen, go ahead.
I was going to say, for any Jacksonian who all have gripes, you couldn't ask for a better thing.
Never seen anything like this, man. I just want to say, man, just big shout out to Travis, man, for opening up his arms and ears and allowing the I Love Nation to be heard. This is your time, man. Reach out to him. Go to Twitter at Travis_Jerome and hit him up. Let him know what you think. I got a great idea. I've been pitching it since we've been on here. Got with Mr. ASVP, and we're gonna push that, man. So we'll come back to this though. I want to welcome Miss Janae Brown. She committed from Orlando, Florida, signed with our volleyball team, man. So congratulations to Coach, our new volleyball coach, and getting some good talent in here, man. So we want to welcome Miss Janae Brown from Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando, Florida, to the JSU Tiger family, man. So congratulations to her on her acceptance to Jackson State, and we welcome her to the Tiger family, man.
Sure. That's a powerhouse school, man. That school is like Madison Central in Florida, man.
Good stuff, man. What's up, TD? We'll keep it rolling. What's going on, man? Another congratulations. We want to send a huge congratulations to Teely. Teely was second team on the box to row. He's always followed box to row for football, HBCU All-American and postseason awards and even preseason. Very respectable platform and press. And second team, I mean, I get it. You know, first team was a little tight, but we take it. You know, she balled out against UConn and got another year eligibility. We hope to get her back, man. So congratulations to Teely for being another accolade on a shelf of accolades. Let's see. Now we'll get into this real quick. Today is Wednesday, so no need to talk about what we have on today. Tomorrow we have the Ashley Robinson Golf Classic. Zoe mentioned that 8 a.m. Shotgun style. If you haven't signed up, then y'all already know what to do. But we'll be out there in the morning, 8 a.m. It'll be a little chilly out there. And then, of course, Friday night, you have the 7 p.m. Invitation only for the JSU donor reception. And then on Saturday, obviously, the blue and white game, 3 p.m. And obviously, Sunday, you got the brunch. But without further ado, we're going to pause on some of these preliminaries. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring up our guests, man. We want to welcome oh man, I gotta go back to that long title. So at TD and everybody, we're gonna put this up here again. We want to welcome to the show Coach Rod White, CEO of and he's the National Scouting Director of the National Scouting Bureau Pipeline, our Twitter page that I really have grown to take a major liking to. And he's also the interim head coach and baseball coach at Dillon University. So let's go ahead and get him up here. Coach, how you doing, man? Can you hear me, Coach? He stepped out. He might not know Coach, going to get a better signal. Froze up on us. Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
He froze.
You might have to come out and go. You might have to go out and come back in, Coach, because if you're talking, we can't hear you. I'll tell you what, man. We'll wait. We'll give him a little second to come up. But let me talk about his actual platform real quick. For those that don't know, we'll do it this way. The National Scouting Bureau Pipeline is and Mo, I know you've been following him and you ready to get active with this, man. And I really took a liking to them. There we go. Here you come back. Let's see. Coach, you there?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
There you go. We can hear you loud and clear now, man. How you doing, Coach? Welcome to the show.
I appreciate it, guys. I'm doing great, man. I do apologize. I am in the transition of kind of moving in order to, help out Dillard. The internet,
Oh yeah.
not, let me just say, it's not my studio back home.
So I know. So
What's up, guys?
hey,
What's
man.
going on, Coach?
Making it, man.
Just excited to have you on. We've had a lot of chatter going in and out through the inbox, and I know you told us you were busy. And for those that didn't know, you took over as the interim coach at Dillard, and you were in Montgomery at first, right?
In Montgomery. Yep, in Montgomery. Traveling all over the place, watching these games, and watching HBCU ball a lot. So,
okay.
Yeah,
So, Coach, I'll jump into it real quick. Do us a favor and just kind of give us a quick, intro for those. This is obviously JSU Sports Chat. Way we got connected is through Twitter conversations, right? You guys put out an amazing, just a breakdown of I might have been a top 10 or top 15 poll.
right.
And I've never seen anybody grab HBCU baseball like that. It's kind of the blind sport behind football and basketball. And everybody's kind of gravitates to those types of publications. But then when you get to baseball, I'm like, wow, this is some good stuff. And I'll put this up here. Your platform on Twitter for those that want to follow and really keep up with some great content. And it's not just HBCU. I mean, I even saw a poll. You guys did JUCO, high school, everything. I mean, it's for those baseball lovers, go to @NSB Pipeline. That's National Scouting Bureau Pipeline on Twitter. And of course, also follow the Godfather it says @the Godfather SMA, and it's Coach Rod White, aka the Godfather. That's his Twitter page. Coach, I'll shut up and let you go ahead and jump in here and introduce yourself.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna jump in right there since you did the Godfather thing. Everybody said, "Why did you name yourself that?" I did not name myself that. Okay, if you've seen me out, you see that I normally either while I'm scouting, like the old scouts used to, I wear a fedora and a blazer.
Okay.
And you may see a cigar every now
I
and
was
then.
about to say that.
Hey, you see,
I was about to say that.
hey, you talking TD language now, man. TD language, man. Go ahead. I ain't gonna interrupt you no more.
Yeah, so you'll see me in the fedora and blazer hat, and everybody's wondering what I'm doing, and I'm actually I don't know if everybody knows, but I'm actually a sports agent too, right? And so let me give you my background. I'm a proud graduate of Alabama State University, right?
Okay.
I think everybody's seen that somewhere before at this point. I went on and I played a little minor ball, moved into independent ball, became a general manager in independent ball, coached my way up and made it to general management in indie ball. Left there, came back to Bama State, coached for a few years before the transition with Coach Watkins stepped down. And from there, I moved on, started working with the Red Sox. Worked from there. I went back and I coached in Texas at a college. My brother took over as the head coach at Texas College back there, so I went out to help him. We built a phenomenal program, and then COVID hit, right? So when COVID hit, I came back home to Montgomery. I started working with the Phillies. From working with the Phillies, I ended up coaching at a high school, Carver High School in Montgomery. Everybody knows it, big football,
Carver,
all the Bama athletes and everybody comes out of there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So coach there turned that program around, turned it into probably the most feared program in the state of Alabama, being a inner city, black school, and we started, we turned the program around. We started beating everybody. We were put on the feared list. In my 3 years there, it ended up being 17 players signed scholarships from D1 down. We had a couple of draft guys that have come through there. Over the years, I've been helping kids, in baseball primarily, even though I do other sports. And primarily in baseball, we've put over, I think it's 450 when the staff just did the last count. It's over 150 plus kids that we've helped find scholarships in baseball from D1 all the way down to JUCO. So that is my background. So the scouting part comes along with the coaching part comes along with coached at Bama State, coached at Texas College, coached at ASA Miami. Been all over, man. I've been helping programs, kind of develop, and I'm kind of that guy that you go get to turn a program around.
I see. That go to Godfather title. So you basically just gave us a definition of that.
Now, so since you just brought that back up, let me tell you how I got that name. I did tell you. I did tell you, right? So I when I show up at a game, all the other scouts, know who I am, right? And even when I was scouting with the Phillies and whoever, I had the fedora on. And
Okay,
so
fedora in the head. I got you.
Yeah, so when I walk in, they would always say, "Uh-oh, here come the Godfather. Somebody about to get signed." All right.
Okay.
So my wife actually took a picture of me. If you see the radar gun on that guy right there, right? That's the company's logo. But I actually have my own personal logo that it looks like the Godfather emblem. That she took a picture of me while we was at 44 and over at Truist Park in Atlanta. And that became my personal brand. It's me holding the radar gun with the fedora hat on, and it looks just like the Godfather emblem.
That's awesome, man. I'll start here, and then we'll let the panel jump in and ask some questions. We got our baseball expert on Mo knows and Llama JSU, and we oftentimes pick up sports and talk about our guys, but it's not often that we get to expand on baseball. And then you guys had. I just want you to introduce the platform and kind of where you got. Let's talk about the implementation of the National Scouting Bureau, and you're now on social media, and you guys are doing just an outstanding job of really the work that you're doing that I'm seeing. It grabbed me, and I'm interested. Now you're one of my pages I'll go to and kind of see what's out there, and I'll say that for this reason. For those that don't know, I'll put this up there. You guys did the top 20 hitters through April the 1st. And this is the type of stuff we normally don't get. I also want to shout out HBCU Premier Sports, because the actual picture to the right is he put the batting percentages by team. Jackson State sits up at the top of the board with a 308 for the team, and right now we're 20-8 on the season for our record. But we got 3 JSU Tigers on there. Talk about the platform, and let's talk about kind of how you guys scout out. How do you guys do the work to where you're able to get this much data and get it out to the public?
Well, man, to be honest with you, I have a team. Man, we have a team. I have a graphics person, kid named Evan Lazinski. He's in college right now. He does a lot of my graphics work. We have other researchers who are actually pulling the data. I'm out at the games, and I'm actually seeing who's doing what live. Until this past week, where I took over at Dillard. But I'm normally out. We have other scouts that are out. So just think about us as our platform as you take. I know you guys have heard of PBR, right? And PBR goes out. They have scouts all over the place, right? So you take PBR, you take a part of what Perfect Game does, you take a part of some of these other companies, and you create this baby. They came together and all had a baby, and that's what the National Scouting Bureau is. It's kind of taking the best of all worlds and integrated it into one. And the why we cover so much HBCU stuff, obviously, is I'm an HBCU guy. Obviously, as an agent, I represent several HBCU players, right? And one of the things that I know, there's a couple of things, and I'll talk about it, that kind of hurt our guys, is one, nobody's really pushing them. Nobody's plugging them. Nobody's putting them out in the marketplace, right? Two, we don't have in our facilities the data, the metrics gathering systems to make sure that those players' metrics are getting in front of MLB scouts. So those are the two things that are hurting our guys. So what I figured is on the front end of this, I could take our platform and start promoting these guys and giving them a platform to a leg to stand up, right? At least nobody can say what they didn't know about them. Because not only do you guys see this stuff on the social media side of it, I actually pushed this out through our my back end channels from the scouting side, where the information is now being plugged into Scouts Weekly, so they're never able to gather and see that information. So I walked into this, obviously I'm a Bama State guy, but I walked into this being like, okay, last year We didn't have anybody. We had some guys. We had 2 guys that were drafted, right? We had 3 guys, if you want to go total out of HBCU. We got my young man out of 4 guys. My young man out of Delaware State, my man out of North Carolina A&T, and then my 2 guys down at Bethune-Cookman. So we had 4 guys, but wait a minute. You know, the guys like Ali LaPred who didn't have that data. You know, Ali LaPred came in back end of the season. He had 14 home runs. That did get a lot of that did get a lot of attention, right? And if you're doing if you put up that type of work, then obviously you should be getting those opportunities, or at least getting seen in those opportunities. And to come to find out that because the information wasn't really out there, that they weren't getting, that he's not getting that opportunity. So I said to myself, and I said to my team of people, my business partners, all of our staff that we have actually working, our people that are on the ground, I was going to make a concerted effort to begin pushing HBCU ball at least at the D1 level initially, and start picking up and gradually moving down to even down into the NAIA JUCO level part of that to begin pushing it.
Awesome. Hey Mo, I'm gonna go to Mo first. Mo being our guest and chief baseball guy. Good Mo, what you got for?
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm wonderful, Mo. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. Just looking at your platform, man, it reminds me a lot of Perfect Game and Black College Nines combined.
Yeah.
Like it's in conjunction with each other.
And don't get me wrong, I am not in competition with Black College Nines, and the guys know that. I'm still a poll, even though I've been a pollster for them for probably 10 years, right?
Right.
Even in the midst of my coaching, I was one of their poster guys because of I'm very candid in what I say. I just I tell it like it really is. And so I've been a poster for those guys, even though that I'm back coaching, inside of HBCU ball. I stepped away from the small schools, but I still promote, I still push, I'm still a poster for the large schools. So what I put out, what our group puts out, is the same vote that you'll see us put into Black College Nines.
Yes, sir. Earlier, one of our co-hosts, Zoe, had mentioned Ricky Weeks. Everybody knew about Ricky Weeks, but I remember as a little boy going to Jackson State's field back when it was on Lynch Street and watch a pitcher by the name of Anthony Johnson, who ended up being a free agent, strike out Ricky Weeks 3 times. And Ricky Weeks ended up being one of the top choices in that year's draft, but nobody knew about Anthony Johnson. So I really appreciate your service, because this will now put somebody like Anthony Johnson on scouts' radars.
Exactly. And that's what the goal is. I mean, I see so many kids fall through the cracks. And I'm not saying this is going to be the end all be all, and it's going to make them, make Major League Baseball or these other teams select them. My point is, at least you cannot say you did not know about it.
Right. Coach, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Compared to 20 years ago, what is the state of Black college baseball right now?
20 years ago, I'm going to say at the collegiate level as well as the professional level, we are down. Now, at the youth level, we are way up. Now, where's the differentiator at here now? If you really want to get into the semantics of this, what's the differentiator? Well, one of the major differentiator is the lack of black coaches. Okay, so most people, and let's just be honest. I mean, and people try to run from this, but most coaches recruit who they accustomed to know and relate to, right?
Right. And we got a lot of black colleges don't look like black colleges.
Exactly. So I don't call them HBCUs anymore. I call them HDCUs, historically diverse colleges and universities. So, I mean, and that's the reality of it. I mean, and that is that's transcendent from the players to the coaching staff, all the way through. And when you say, I can sit out here and I can go to Atlanta and spend all summer, which is normally what I do. I spend all summer in Atlanta and I see hundreds of thousands of kids that are black that are playing ball, right?
Right.
But then when I go out and I look at some of the organizations, and this is no fault of the organization. I mean, this is no fault of the school. The coaches are going to at the end of the day going to pick or recruit who they're comfortable with. I think the bigger issue is, why are so many people not comfortable with each other in 2024?
Right.
That is your major issue. But nobody wants to tackle that part.
Oh no, that's blasphemy.
Right. We still know Sunday is the most segregated day, but everybody talking about they're Christian.
Right.
I'm just saying. So when you factor all this into the matter, right? All that now transcends back down into what you're saying in the era where there's only, matter of fact, we just did a poll. I haven't released this poll yet, but I'll go ahead and tell you guys what it is. We did a poll. There are, I think, matter of fact, I will read it directly so I don't make up a lie. How about that? Give me one second. And this is me and other scouts now. Me and other scouts do this, and we pull this together, and we tally up who has what doing what. So as of opening day, okay, 42 out of the 780 opening day roster spots were black players.
Oh wow.
42 of the opening day roster. Of the 780 positions, only 42 were black.
Wow.
That is 0.54%. That is lower than it has almost ever been.
Wow.
I can tell you who had and who didn't have. D-backs.
What does Jackson State look like?
Huh?
What does Jackson State look like? And then we'll go to TD for a question in zone.
You know, TD, I'll be honest with you, Jackson State look more like the Jackson State of old.
I was gonna say that.
I mean, listen, from shortstop to third. Well, we got Lenny Montesano was a kid that I sent there, right? He's at third base.
We appreciate you, Coach.
Hey man, listen. Like I said, part of what we do is we make sure that the coaches know about not only the scouts, but we make sure coaches know about players too, man. And that's a lot of what I've been doing is making sure these kids get opportunities. And guess what? A lot of stuff, 99% of it, I ain't charged these kids nothing. I just had the relationships.
I want you to pause right there. Yeah. I want TD and Zoe to get their questions in real quick.
All right, my bad.
I gotta say this though. You really telling us why Alabama State damn tough. Because you've been sending all the talent over there to Montgomery, man. You've been hoarding all the talent.
Man, listen. They do get a couple guys. They don't get all of them. I get a little angry sometimes. I try to give you, and you don't take. But hey, they take a few every now and then, and those guys turn out to be productive guys. So hey, it is. But I send everybody. If you go look at Prairie View, you go look at that roster. See how many kids I'm connected to on that one.
Hey, TD, what you got, baby?
Hey, good evening, Coach.
Good evening.
Appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir.
Baseball, in the Black community seemed to be somewhat of a lost art. I remember kids, you can ride down the street and kids playing stickball or with a tennis ball, whatever they can get their hands on. Mm-hmm. And now I guess people feel like the game is so slow that no one is taking a lot of interest in. What can be done, definitely in the Black community, to get kids more interested in playing baseball? We talk about money and and the fast pace going on with different sports and the NILs and stuff. What can bring the sports back?
What can bring the sport back? One, let's make sure we all understand that baseball is a generational sport, meaning that it's typically passed down father to son, right? I now today more than ever see more fathers more involved with their sons at the youth level. So I'm starting to see that is the trend is picking up. Now, let's remember, the trend has been down for so long, whether it could be mass incarceration or absentee fathers or whatever it may be, the trend is picking up. Now, you're seeing more and more black fathers with their sons at these games. Now, don't get me wrong. You're still seeing mom.
Yep.
At the game, and there are a ton of moms that are out here, man. I can tell you can go on Black Boys Play Baseball, right? One of the outlets that we're partnered with and frequent on there, right? You'll see that there are a multitude of kids playing. So I don't want the stigma to continue that we're not playing. What I want to be able to happen is that we're now able to, because more of our kids are playing, we're now able to pull those kids into our universities so that now we can actually see that they are actually playing. Right? Now, with that being said, there are monetary barriers. So, I mean, we know that baseball is expensive, man. I mean, if you want to get on a circuit, the typical formula is get on somebody's great travel ball team, go play in the big travel ball tournament, right? And then you may have an opportunity. That's not always the case, but that's what the stigma has been put out there. So now it costs you $5,000 to play on that team. Every mom or single parent mom or every dad who may be a single parent dad may not have $5,000 that they can set aside just for that. So there are a multitude of factors that come into play. The cost of equipment. When you play basketball, you know how we used to do back in the country. We get an old bicycle rim, we get a piece of plywood and put it up on the wall, and we get and somebody in the neighborhood got the basketball, and we could play.
Get a milk crate if we had. We were cutting the bottom out of the milk crate.
We playing, right? So it's a harder, more expensive mechanism to get into. And here's the other thing that comes into play, right? The lack of the lack of development.
Yeah.
You know, you can take athleticism and you can turn athleticism to many things, right? A multitude of things. But but with baseball, there's a specific set of skills.
Yeah, that's skill game.
That have to be taught. That if you miss out on much of it, you're going to quit the game. Because making that transition from the 54 40 field, whatever they call it, I don't even remember the name of them now, but the small field to the big field, that right there is that washes a lot of kids out in itself.
Coach, I know Zoe want to jump in here and say something, but we got somebody on here that just always be running off at the mouth talking about that baseball ain't that expensive at the entry level. See this fella right here, Jeremiah Clark. I'm almost saying we got the same last name, but that's my brother. I got love for him, you know. But he claimed that the game is not expensive at the entry level. Can you touch on that? Because you've been a part of it.
Entry level. All right, so entry level is going to be your local rec, right? Or somebody who has said that they are willing to front the cost for you to get into these tournaments, right? All right, so if you're playing rec ball, the entry level is going to be $100, maybe 120, maybe 150 now, right? But still, if they don't supply you with the glove, what you got to go get? A glove, right? Glove at Walmart might be $25, right? That's entry level, right? But what if mom ain't got the $25? Then little Jimmy is waiting for somebody to use their glove. And little Jimmy now, because you know how kids are. Tim over here, little Timmy got his glove and bat and everything else. Little Jimmy ain't got a glove, and he got to borrow little Timmy glove. Now, how little Jimmy feel?
Now, some bricks don't have enough gloves for the team either.
I think, and here, and one other thing we did mention, I think you can get in the game at entry level at a decent college. You can find a way to get through it. But to the point, I think the point that you hone in on was the development of skills. And you got these other kids that's out here getting all these extra training. And trust me, I got friends who got sons and they zero in on baseball, and it is a monetary commitment because you either invest in it or you kind of, it is what it is. So I don't think we can debate. Jeremiah, I'm just messing with you, but I get what he's trying to say. at entry level, you can play the game and it not be that expensive. But to act like baseball and playing it at that, you know, and really taking it to the next level isn't expensive. It's just kind of incomplete. But I don't want to belittle that. Zoe, you got a question for Coach? Because I know
well, Coach, before I get to my question, I actually want to give you kudos, Coach, for the work that you guys do. You guys actually do outstanding work.
Appreciate it.
And the reason why I really want to give you guys kudos because baseball is the true originator when we talk about it's still today the main sport when you talk about data driven, statistics driven, you know, it's the main sport that's derived from statistics.
Right.
It runs everything about the sports, and it actually gets to be to the point where it can actually be kind of very, very detailed and anal with it in some aspects of it. And again, to your point, we didn't have these you mentioned on players, but I actually pull it back and say we never really had this type of information for the schools and the teams themselves.
Correct.
And so we talk about being in a social media age like we are now. It hurts when you say I have this one team that's thriving, and we have information not only on players but the team itself. But then I have a conference of teams, and I only got one team that I got information on. Never mind that all these schools have SIDs, but again, number one, baseball is what not a great sport, lack of scholarships. So the interest isn't there. So if interest isn't there, our support and interest in it wanes. So the thing that I want to ask you in regards to that is, what tangible thing do you think HBCUs need to do? Because I feel that baseball is a sport that we can actually thrive in to have success. We just saw Southern beat LSU. Jackson State has beat the number one team in the country before in the NCAA tournament, in the playoffs rather. We ended up losing the series, but we beat the number one team in the country. Southern just beat the defending national champion. What tangible thing do you think HBCUs can do from a baseball standpoint so we can grow this game and put a better product on the field?
Well, to be honest, the first thing is, I mean, let me back up. NCAA only allows us 11.7 at the D1 level. I'm just saying, first of all, can we get to 11.7? We got schools that got 6.
Wow.
And we're asking those same schools to go compete with schools that got 11.7.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I ain't finna call no names.
Wow.
I can, but at the end of the day, we're asking these guys to go compete. That's like one of my buddies would say, that's going to into the World War III with a water gun, right? You can't expect them to win. You can't expect them to put up. So first thing is let's get to the 11.7. Second thing is, you know, we're missing kids because they're playing football and basketball. And why are they playing those sports? Number of scholarships available.
That's true.
Right? So I got a kid right now, number one player in Alabama, in my opinion, right? And this is me seeing all these players. He's number one player in Alabama. I know he's the number one two-sport athlete in the state, right? He's a football star, QB1, right? He threw for 2,922 yards this year. He threw for 3,333 yards last year. He's playing 6A football. He's playing against the 7A schools in the state of Alabama and blowing them up, right? He got a notice, and he decided to take a football scholarship because he wasn't getting the notoriety in baseball. But he goes to the Alabama baseball North-South game, and he's the most valuable player, and nobody knew about him.
Wow.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you this, Ken. You know, when we get to talking about football, we talk about the 4 and 5 star players that's going to D1 programs and not coming to HBCUs and how we get those players. Once you get to talking about baseball, you was talking about the financial aspect of it, and you know, little Timmy, Mama, whomever don't have the funds to buy the equipment. But then I've seen a lot, you know, even at different parks where you may get other races that may grab these kids and put them through the little league and have them over the house barbecues and stuff because they're playing with their sons and stuff like that. And then those players that develop end up going to D1 schools because of the connection of the person who shoveled out money into their careers from the time they was a kid to the time they came through high school.
Right.
So, that's why I see a lot of times you have a lot of African American players playing for D1 schools and kids not, other races funding and sponsoring them through their baseball careers, as they come up.
Mm-hmm. I know a multitude of kids that were like that, by the way, or are like that, not were like that, are like that. There's a kid you'll start hearing about him out of Illinois, right? He's 6'6". Everybody thinks he'll be playing football or playing basketball. He's probably going to come out as the 2026 top ranked player in the state, right? And probably in that top of that class of 2025 and 2026 and 2026 7 kids, he's probably sitting at the top of that list, right? And he's with the family that has taken him in, and that family happens to be white, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying. So one of the things that I want to see done is a group of men get together and say, and stop worrying about credit, right? At the end of the day, stop worrying about who getting credit for what.
Yeah, boy.
Let's worry about getting the kid what the kids need.
Yeah.
Right. And then we can start directing those kids to places if we want them to go to those places, right? Because we can start embedding those kids into those systems and those systems into the kid early on. But we get caught up in who getting credit.
Right.
Right.
Hey, Mo.
Yes, sir.
So, Coach, we got about 10 minutes to go.
Okay.
I want to hone in into some Jackson State baseball because this team felt like we come out the gate. Joseph Eichelberger is killing it. He's leading the nation in a lot of hype around his name. Of course, you got Jordan McClatty, and Rodney Hibbler. I want to get your take and your perspective because I think the first poll that I saw, Jackson State was ranked third.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll start there, and then we'll get Mo to kind of assist with just some discussion around the JSU baseball team, kind of what you see and your thoughts on Coach Omar's 2014 right now.
I think Coach Omar has one of the stellar teams in the conference, right? Everybody jumped on our case about why we had him ranked third,
Number
right?
3. Yeah.
And what I have to tell everybody, and Coach Omar know I'll say it to him just like I said to anybody, it's not the actual record that matters when we're making the projections, okay? The record does count, right? But it's mainly comes down to strength of schedule when I have to make a ranking. Because you got to remember, I'm thinking of things from an evaluation standpoint, from a scouting standpoint, not from as a fan. Because if I was a fan, Alabama State would be number 1 all damn day, right? Just saying. Right. So it's not about the it's a meticulous process that we go through to make this determination. It's sometimes it's the awards that you see coming to it. Sometimes it's the teams that they play. Like y'all just saw Southern beat LSU, right?
Yep.
Right.
So guess what's finna happen?
They finna go up to the top of the pole.
They're the only one that's beat an SEC team.
Right.
So hey, when we meet on, because we do this Sunday nights, right? When we meet Sunday nights and Monday mornings, hey, that war room is a war room, right? We're talking about people of how they feel, all this other stuff. Now, once we get the feelings out of the way, we go down to the data.
Yeah,
and the data is what determines where these guys end up in the poll. Jackson State has a very good team. I think if you ask me, I know they had this upset this past week, right?
Right.
But you got to understand, FAMU is a very, very scrappy group of guys. They show up, they play. Shoop is gonna do whatever he can to win. He got a lot of sub guys, that submarine pitchers that he gonna throw from that bottom, and he's gonna have people off base.
Man, that's
his MO. You can just go ahead and tell. So Jackson State, but I love Jackson State team. Like I say, there are guys there that we're helping and we're pushing and we're trying to get some guys opportunities out of there.
All right, Coach. Since you love Jackson State's team, Who are some of these top prospects coming out of Jack? Who are the scouts hot on? You know, everybody knows about Eichelberger.
Ooh, everybody knows about Eichelberger, right? Okay, so let's go to your pitcher staff. Name some of your pitchers.
Isaiah Williams from the left side.
I love that kid. I loved him when I saw him out in Houston, out at Cactus Jack. I loved him every time I've watched him play, and I've watched Jackson State probably play about 6-7 times. Him and
Christian Womble.
Christian Womble. I love to see that two combinations.
What you think about CJ Lewis?
I think CJ is a really up and coming guy. I think as he gets a little older, he's going to grow into it. But you guys, I mean, listen. When they showed up at Alabama State, and I covered that game, you guys saw that. When they showed up at Alabama State and they did what they did, I was like, all right, they're coming together. And then when I saw what happened with the FAMU deal, I'm like, okay, FAMU snuck up on them that day. I mean, this week. Let's see what happens later. Because when they get to the tournament, all gloves come off, baby.
Oh, do.
That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
But coach, out of that pitching staff, who is most likely to play at the next level?
I have to go with between Christian Wombles and Isaiah Williams.
Why, coach?
Well, Isaiah's a lefty that's touching 92 to 94.
Right.
You know, from that left side with the 3-pitch, 4-pitch mix.
6'5", 240.
Yeah, if he's throwing his changeup in his own, it could be a light side day for anybody. He can throw that. Well, he threw that against Butler.
Correct.
So, just saying. Y'all got a stellar team. It's a very stellar team. Overall has done a good job of. Excuse me. Let me give reverence where reverence is due. Coach Omar has done a great job of pulling this team together. And they had a fall this past week, but I think they bounced back strong. And I think when you get to the tournament, and I probably should be done with our set schedule and our tournament here, that I'll be back covering that tournament. So you got to be through cooking this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. I want to get your thoughts on this, your closing thoughts.
Man. That's gonna be. Listen, I had to cancel my flight. That's the game. That's why I was going. I was going there this week. Yeah, man. Bethune has, if you go look at their schedule, and we talk about strength of schedule and why they've been in that number 2 spot, they've played some very tough teams. And they've defeated some perennially tough mid-major programs, right? So I think this is going to be a battle. I think it's one that I would love to be present to watch. Unfortunately, I have to be down here and take care of Dillard, and not unfortunately, it's the unfortunate situation where I have to now be here to take care of Dillard. But you guys are looking for some good ball this weekend. They're starting their pitchers. Their starting guy, their Friday night guy, is a dude. He's a potential right now talks between the 2nd through 5th round guy.
Oh wow!
Wow. Well, man, Coach, this has been a treat, man. I wanted to open it up with some baseball, man. We're gonna definitely. I know you got your hands full with Dillard and what you got going on, and but we're gonna keep this conversation going. We'd love to have you back on. We're looking to do a baseball tailgate at some point before the season is out. We're gonna keep our eyes on it because after the spring game, that's all we got is baseball left.
So you got is baseball.
So right. So yeah, man. But go ahead. You got anything?
I want to ask him real quick. He named the 2 players named Womble and Williams. Why not Eichelberger? Why not him on the next level?
Oh no, y'all said he said beside Eichelberger.
Does understand? Okay.
Yeah, he said beside. My bad. No, I think the kid. Listen, one of the things solidifying the position is a question, right, for Eichelberger, because he's been doing a lot of DHing, right? Yeah. But solidifying the position is always going to be the question that scouts are going to ask. They know he can hit, all right, and typically you'll see guys that can hit get opportunities, right?
Coach, should he come out this year?
I would. Let me see now. You're making me cross into territory now. I'm gonna have to abstain on that one because I don't want my conversation influencing something that
I
may or
got
may
you,
not
coach.
happen. Should happen.
Got
So let me be clear on that one.
Makes
gotcha.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Let me be politically correct on this one, gentlemen.
Well, Coach, man, thank you so much for coming up. We definitely gonna have you back on, man. This is a great conversation. Hopefully, our Tiger Nation appreciated the dialogue. Now you don't have to do the intro next time you come back. We jump right into
Jump
it.
right into it, right? Yep.
Yeah. So all the best to you, man, over at Dillard.
Appreciate you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming
Appreciate
up.
you. Yeah, appreciate you guys having me. Enjoyed it, man.
Appreciate
Yes,
you,
sir.
coach.
Appreciate you, Coach. Have a good evening.
Sure. Y'all have a
Hey,
great one.
Ken, I'm gonna get off.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Willie.
Appreciate
Yes,
you, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate it, Mo. Take it easy.
All right, man. Next up, man, we got that was a treat, man. I appreciate Coach for coming up. We're gonna keep this thing rocking and rolling, man. So we had a tight schedule tonight. And again, as we stated, we're gonna have Madam President on tonight. 20th JSU National Alumni President. We have Miss Patrice Edwards joining the show tonight. Let's go ahead and bring her up. Patrice, what's up, sis? How you doing? You on mute. There you go. Come on, there you
I'm
go.
muted now.
You
Hey,
unmuted now. How you doing? What's up?
I'm doing well. How are you all doing?
Doing outstanding. Doing
Good
outstanding.
evening, Miss Edwards.
Good evening. How are you?
Doing fine.
Yeah, we
Thank
doing
you all
good.
for having me on.
Oh, you know what? It's all good, man. We appreciate it. You know, I enjoyed talking to you where were we at? Selection show. That's what it was. We was at the
Yeah.
selection show. Had a chance to have a conversation, and I know we're getting ready for elections starting on what you say, April the 8th. I think Monday, starting on Monday.
Tuesday, I believe.
It'll be Tuesday. Okay.
I think so. Yes. Tuesday is
Yeah.
yes.
Good deal, man. So for those that who've been under a rock and don't know who you are, go ahead and kind of introduce yourself and just like I said, this is your moment to come on the platform. We got about 485 in the room. I'm gonna put let me see. Let me go back and put what was I just doing? What was that? Let me do this. There we go. I'll put this up here. I found this on your page, and you got too many accolades for me to try to narrow it down to one little thing. But no, go ahead and introduce yourself and just let everybody know what you got going on and where we at, and we'll go from there. We'll build from there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much again for having me on. I truly enjoyed the previous conversation. I am a baseball mom, so that was near and dear to my heart. Just listening to the conversation and giving me some tidbits about what I can do with my ninth grader who is aspiring to play at the next level. So that was a great conversation. So love what you all do, the conversations that you ignite. Especially, across the country through our alums and just a great conversation to promote Jackson State University and our athletics program. So thank you so much. Again, I am Patrice Edwards. I am a native of East St. Louis, Illinois. I am the 20th president of the Jackson State University National Alumni Association, and I am a former volleyball player. I played at Jackson State from 1995 to 98, and I am a 2019 Sports Hall of Fame inductee. So I live, breathe, and bleed blue sports. I love it. That's what I do. So this is a labor of love, being the alumni president. It affords me the opportunity to be able to support our athletic programs, to support our coaches, to support our university. Most of all. So some of the things I just wanted to kind of let you all know, some of the things that we have been doing as an organization. Of course, I'm a life member of the association. I have been a member since I graduated from Jackson State in 1999. So I tell the story that initially Jackson State was not on my radar. I grew up in, again, East St. Louis, Illinois, which is 99.9% African American, and I was that 0.01% because I am half black, a quarter of Chinese, and a quarter of white. So I was that little 0.0% of, non-African American. So HBCUs weren't necessarily on my radar because I had grown up in a predominantly Black community. I had the opportunity to be offered a scholarship to play volleyball, which prompted me to go Jackson State. And when I say I would not change it for the world, JSU has changed my life. The professors that I met, my teammates, the people that I met on the yard, they turned what I thought was a great life to an even better life. I have my career because of Jackson State. I have lifelong friendships because of Jackson State. And because of the love that was shown to me, the village that I was able to acquire while being at Jackson State, that is what prompted me to be actively involved in the National Alumni Association as soon as I graduated. Of course, I moved to Florida. I was hired right out of college. And I moved to Daytona Beach, Florida, and lived there for 6 years. So there was no alumni chapters in the state of Florida. So that prompted me to reach out to alums that were local in the area to start an alumni chapter there. So we chartered the alumni chapter, the Greater Orlando chapter, in 2004. And then I moved back to Jackson in 2005. And then that's when I joined the Jackson Heights chapter. Was instrumental in working as co-chair and with Terry Woodard, the late great Terry Woodard, who was a previous alumni president, on the car giveaway that we used to do. So have been working for the university for our students for a very long time. So it was a natural progression to go from alumni chapter local president. So I served as president of the Greater Orlando chapter. I assisted with chartering the Byram Terry chapter and became the chartering president with the Byram Terry chapter. So from me St. Louis back then. Yep. I was reading the chat. Sorry. So it was a natural progression. I became secretary under Yolanda Owens, learned so many great things from her. And then when Dr. Norwood became the alumni president, I was the Mississippi Regional Vice President. So in each aspect where I've worked for this organization, I have sought to grow the organization, chartering 2 chapters. And then when we were in the Mississippi region, of course, Mississippi is the largest region of the Alumni Association. And being the largest region, there wasn't a need to charter new chapters, but there was a need to reclaim those chapters who had gone dormant. So I worked with my board members to strategize in terms of what we needed to do. Our president, Dr. Norwood, at the time, her focus was on making sure that all of our chapters were endowed. So that was one focus. And the other focus was to make sure that we reclaim those chapters that had gone dormant so that we can extend the reach of the association. So under my leadership as Mississippi Regional Vice President, we reclaimed 6 more chapters that had gone dormant, and those chapters are still flourishing at this time. We also got 5 more chapters endowed during the time that and I think 2 of them, the Gulf Coast chapter and the Clarksdale chapter, they completed their endowments under my administration. So those are things that I'm extremely proud of. And then as president, we have added 2 new chapters, the Baltimore chapter and the Austin area alumni chapter. And then
ATX. That's
yes,
home right there. What's up, baby? Let's go.
And so this past weekend, this past weekend, we just installed our new affinity group, which is the YE, the Upsilon Epsilon alumni chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, as an affinity group. So I'm proud of the growth that we've had. We were supposed to have another chapter to come on board. We were hoping, but unfortunately it was not voted up. So hopefully that group of alums who were wanting to start that chapter will have an opportunity to come back before the board to remit their application, and hopefully, we'll be able to grow. So I've always promoted growth. I have a love. I'm an educator by trade. I'm an assistant principal at Forest Hill High School here in Jackson, Mississippi. So education is my passion. Students, children are my passion. Making sure that our students, our scholars, go from high school to secondary, from secondary to higher ed to their career. That is my passion. So what I've implemented is a way for our high schoolers to connect with our college students. So previous Miss JSU, Deja Davis, she's come over. Her and her group worked with our students at Forest Hill High School to engage, to kind of let them know what collegiate life is like. Give them information in terms of what to prepare for academically, those social organizations that are on the yard. So just making that connection. Additionally, working with the collegiate students. We used to have a mentoring program, and many of our alums are interested in starting the mentoring program. But what our students have asked for, and speaking with them, is that, they appreciate the ability to be mentored, but what they're really seeking is the opportunity for internships, to do on-the-job training so that they can get into those career fields and kind of see what they look like and be able to make a definitive decision as to whether or not that's something that they really, really want to do. So this year at our Midwinter Leadership Development Council meeting, I added a date to our council meeting. We normally start on Friday. This year we started on Thursday, and that was a chat and chew with our students. Because a number of our alums also from across the country has stated that when they come in town, they would like to, be able to touch their scholars and get to meet them so that they can support them once they come back home. So I thought that was very important for us to do. And as a result, 2 of our scholars received opportunities for internships, and another one of our scholars received 2 opportunities of course, he's graduating this year, and that's Mr. Jackson, our SGA president, Jason Johnson, I'm sorry. And he has 2 opportunities for career in engineering as a result of our Midwinter Leadership Development Council meeting and working with our alums. In addition, I don't know if some of you all have seen me out and about. I had surgery on my knee. I had a torn meniscus, a root tear in my meniscus. So I have a physical therapist who is a JSU alum. It's Walter Reed's daughter, Kathy McCullum. And she is phenomenal. She has her own practice, but there are several students who are biology majors, pre-physical therapy. And so because of my relationship with Dr. McCullum, I've been able to get at least 2 to 3 scholars opportunities to do internships at her practice, just working with them. My dentist, she is a JSU alum. Her father is the alumni president in New Orleans. And she's offered opportunities for our students who are pre-dental to be able to come and observe and work with her. So these are things that I love to do. I'm very, very hands-on. And for all I'm not a big picture person. I like to take pictures. I'm usually behind the camera. And so in this role, I've had to get used to being in front of the camera versus behind the camera, which is, a little bit difficult because I am a worker bee. So most of the time you'll see me actually doing the work, but I love engaging with alums. I love to see the work that is being done across the country. And I love the feedback that we get from our alums because it helps me to be better. When we have our board meetings, I tell my alums all the time, I appreciate the opposing opinions. I appreciate all of the dialogue, the information that they provide, because it makes me that better of a leader for this organization, because I don't know everything. And if I'm the smartest person at the table, I don't have much. And we all hear that saying, iron sharpens iron. So I need some iron. I don't need any rusty tools on the table. I need some iron with me because I need to be sharpened, and I appreciate learning. So those are things that we've done. We've increased scholarship as it relates to the funds that we've actually donated to Jackson State. One thing, and I'm extremely transparent, and I've told Ken this before, I'm very transparent, and I know he's done a lot to raise money for athletics for JSU in general. And a lot of times, you know, as alums, because we've graduated from Jackson State, we feel we have a certain opinion or a certain trying to think of the correct words, but some of us feel that we are entitled to some seats at the table that we may not necessarily be entitled to. And money talks, and you know, I think they say something else runs a marathon. I won't say the word, but some money talks, and I'm a firm believer that if we have situations where the university is in need, if they need to, you know, clear some balances for students who are at risk of being purged, as an alumni association, we should be able to cut a check to, you know, prevent those students from being purged. If AD Robinson calls and says, "Hey, Patrice, what can an alumni association do? You know, we need to, you know, up the salary for a coach," or, you know we went through the Bell era, and so, you know, we may not have the funds to buy the contract, but we should be in a financial position as an alumni association to be able to cut checks to assist with the university. But unfortunately, we haven't put our money where our mouths are. You know, we see a lot of opinions. If we got the amount of funds that we have opinions on social media and emails and just in general at the games, you can hear all the opinion. We have sideline coaches, bleacher coaches, and everything. But if we truly put our money behind what our passions are, we wouldn't need the legislators. We wouldn't need anybody to sustain our university, because we'd be able to do that ourselves. And we have the financial resources as an alumni association to be able to do that. But in order to do that, we have to have the membership. We have to have the money, not just season tickets, not just parking passes, not just given to those organizations that are beloved to you. You know, of course, I'm a former volleyball player, but I can't just give my money to volleyball, because there are other places in the university that need that assistance. So we have to be able to put some money at the table so that we have a voice, we have an opinion, we have naming rights with certain things. So when I looked at the financial piece, in terms of what JSU NAA actually gives to the university, you know, of course, for those of y'all who are not aware, we have a donor wall reveal every year. And that's money that goes directly to the Development Foundation. Okay. So I'm looking at the donor wall. The pretty big blue placards are the ones that hit the $1 million mark. I'm looking for, hey, where is JSU NAA? Because I've seen these check presentations in excess of $1 million. And so I specifically said, hey, why isn't our name on there? What's the amount that we need to have in order to get our name on this blue side with this blue placard? And so that's when I found out $1 million. I was like, well, hey, we had this check presentation, you know, what's up? Why aren't we over here? So I said, I need the report in terms of what we've actually given as an alumni association. And so what
this is lifetime.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go ahead. So I'm listening. So, go ahead. Taking notes.
And I'm going to give you the exact dollar amount. Let me pull that up. What we have given since August 8th, 1988 is $494,609.29. That's direct gifts. That's money that the JSU National Alumni Association. Huh?
Give me that one more time.
$494,609.29 since August 8th, 1988.
At 88888. Somebody said, I think C. Lee was hidden by Granny. Hold on. How y'all hiding people, man? What are we doing? Go ahead. Keep talking. I just.
Hey, Patrice, I was going to ask you, I think you already kind of hit on it. I was going to ask you, what was so important, why it's so important to join an alumni chapter, and why is there so many, that just branched out across the country? Why is it so important for alumni to join?
It's important for alumni to join. Of course, you all saw that we had this Senate bill that came up, Senate Bill 2726, right?
Yeah.
And they talked about closing 3 universities. They didn't specify like which universities. They did mention that possibly the W, Delta State, and Alcorn State, right? So when we look at, and of course that bill died, but there's another bill, Senate Bill 2725, that's out there, and it's making traction. So when we look
What
at
bill
these,
is that? What bill is that?
Senate Bill 2725, basically, it's been low key. Of course, you have smoke and mirrors, right? So the Senate Bill 2726, because it specified 3 universities closing by 2028, this other bill kind of slid in, and it's not to close universities, but what they're doing is they're going to look at the universities in the state of Mississippi specifically in terms of revenue, programming. So they'll do kind of like a research on each of the universities. And based on this information that they receive from the research that they do, that could lead to the closure of more than 3 universities. It could ultimately lead to the closure of our university. So depending on the data and how they spend data, because data is kind of relevant to the person that's collecting it, right? So if you're a statistician, you know that you can kind of tell your story with your data the way you need to spin your story. So with this consulting firm or whoever it is that they're working with to gather this information, they can make a case that there's not a need for HBCUs. That, historically, when we looked at why HBCUs were started, there's no longer need because you don't have this, you don't have that, the availability at PWIs is there. There's no hold on, people being able to go to whatever university they want to. So historically, Black colleges and university are at risk of closure if the state feels that, hey, there's no longer a need to support these universities. And of course, with Jackson State having gained so much traction in the last few years on a national stage, then you're looking at, hey, now we're competing with Ole Miss, Mississippi State. So we're taking over the media presence that they typically would have had. And now our name is in everybody's mouth across, the country. No matter where I go, if I have Jackson State on, which I typically travel with my Jackson State attire, somebody strikes up a conversation, whether I'm in the airport, if I'm walking down the street, somebody has noticed Jackson State University. And so that, and speaking with one of our older alums, I think it was Dr. Lewis Liddell, when I was talking with him, had a conversation with him a couple of weeks ago, and we were just discussing about the Senate bill. And I was just like, well, according to the Senate bill, we're not one of the universities at risk. And then he showed me an opposing thought, which was, yes, we are, because of the national attention that we had. So directly opposite, I'm like, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. And he was like, that is exactly the reason why we are a target.
Basically, we're a threat.
Yes.
So let me stop you just real quick, because I don't want the questions to keep loading.
Okay.
And here's what we'll do, and then you just give your best response to. I see a couple of questions out there that I do want to touch on.
Okay.
And we're gonna keep everything respectful.
Absolutely.
They know I don't get down like that, but I did see one. I'm gonna ask it a different way. The question was asked and posed to the process in which our new president was selected. A lot of people had a lot to say about that, and the question was simply, why was there no public comment? I think we kind of touched on some of that. I don't want to get into that and water it down because we had a conversation about the position in which a National Alumni Association is and its importance in relation to the president and kind of what happened with Bethune-Cookman.
Right.
You don't have to get into the Bethune-Cookman. They can do their own research on that. But I
Okay.
want to touch on that the why there was no public comment part, and that was one of the questions. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Okay. So I am a firm believer in transparency. Honesty, integrity, and transparency. That is what I'm all for. So I have no problem with answering any questions that you all may have. So specifically as it relates to our presidential search. Of course, we had one of our own, Dr. Stephen Cunningham at the helm running this presidential search. He was the chair. I have been in close conversations. I've had an ongoing relationship with him, getting feedback, giving him feedback, providing him with information that you all have given me. I've had emails, I've had phone calls, I've had text messages to come through. So all of the information that was given to me was in turn given to IHL, good, bad, or indifferent. I did do a disclaimer stating that this is not the opinion of the Jackson State University National Alumni Association, but these are alums who have, expressed concerns or different thoughts. So let me kind of backpedal. So for those of y'all who do not know, we are an affiliated organization of Jackson State University. We operate through an affiliation agreement that stems 5 years. So every 5 years, we sign another affiliation agreement with the university. The president of the university has to sign it, as well as the institutions of higher learning. So they go over that affiliation agreement, and we all have to agree to the terms of that. That gives us the ability to raise funds for Jackson State University to have certain access to the name and likeness of the university. So when we're operating, we have to be extremely careful about what we do and the potential harm that it could cause the university. And the potential harm that it can cause this association by having our affiliation agreement stripped. And so what Ken had spoke to, and I'll just kind of briefly go over it, and you all can, again, look it up for yourselves. But a few years ago, the Bethune-Cookman University National Alumni Association was issued a cease and desist from the university. So they no longer exist. Their alumni relations is now done through the university. They have no alumni association. Because of our affiliation agreement, there are certain things that we are not able to do. And there are some things that we can do. Now, I'll give you the history of our previous searches. The last time that we had a full-fledged presidential search was when Dr. Bynum was hired. At that time, we had the constituency groups that were allowed to be on. That's your National Alumni Association representative, your SGA representative, your faculty and staff senate. All of those entities were a part of the search committee. Well, not the search committee. They had a firm that did the search committee, but they were a part of the committee to select the next president. So what you had was IHL had their pick. And then the constituency groups had unanimously decided on another candidate. Unfortunately, what occurred was some kind of way, I guess the two finalists, the one that IHL wanted and the one that the constituency groups wanted, one of those names, there was some negative information that was found out about the candidate that IHL wanted. So as a result, some kind of way that information was leaked. And as a result, that's how we got Dr. Bynum. And because they, in essence, they were like, okay, so you're going to get our candidate disqualified. So now you won't get the one that you want. So we'll give you who we want. And so that's how that happened. Then fast forward, they changed their bylaws to where now the constituency groups are no longer a part of the interview process. So that is why you saw when IHL issued the information out, they said advisory council. So that included those constituency groups that used to be on the interview committee. Those Dr. Cunningham fought for us to have at least a small voice by telling them what, the what we wanted in a president, and helping them to develop this form by which they were to select a candidate. So in October, we should have received basically, we should have received the naming of our president. For those of you all who are local in Jackson, Mississippi, I don't know if you paid attention to the news or different social media outlets, news outlets, but every time they got close to naming, and let me say this in advance, this is not factual information. This is Patrice's belief based on all of the facts that I do have. When we were slated to have our president named on a specific date in October, when we came close to that date, what you noticed was different things started to drop. Rumors, innuendos, all that good stuff with different names popping up, different things about these individuals. So it is my belief, and not anything that has been confirmed, it is my belief that they were ready to name somebody who may not have been our current president. And because these negative things came about and dropped, then they had to rework and, recalibrate and go back to the table. That's just my belief, based on the information that I'm privy to. I don't know that to be 100% true. What I will say is that, of course, IHL, they are entity in and of themselves. And so they can make those decisions with or without having a search, but I don't know who the applicants are. The only people that I'm 100% sure of, there are 2 people, and that's because they specifically told me. Everybody else was assumption. And the reason why I did not speak publicly is because, number one, we are hiring a person to run an institution of higher learning. There is nothing that qualifies me to determine whether or not somebody is fit to run the university. Now, I can tell you what qualities I believe a person, based on the feedback that I've gotten from alums, that the person that's the head of the university should possess. But given the nature of everything, most of the people that were rumored to have been in that pool, based on my information, I'd say 90% of them were JSU alums. Okay. So as an alumni president, I represent all of our alums, not just 1, not just 2, not just 4. So what I've stated is that as an alumni association, we are to support the university. As alumni president, I'm going to support whoever is in that role, because to not support our university president is to commission the demise of our university. Now, we may have differences of opinion in terms of what those people in power or in leadership may or may not do. Of course, on our individual jobs, we're not perfect on our individual jobs. So we can just hope for the best from each one of them and work to build those relationships so we have a seat at the table. So when decisions are made, we have a listening ear from those who are in positions to make those decisions, to maybe deter some of the negative decisions that occur, because sometimes people don't have all of the stories. They don't have every perspective or enough perspectives to make an informed decision. But if we built those relationships where we have a seat at the table, we can offer those opinions in love, with the facts, the data that we have, not just our feelings, but actual, hey, this person may be better for the position here because of XYZ. Not because I personally like them, because I personally like a lot of people, but I don't professionally think they would do a good job in certain areas. So
let me jump in there real quick. I don't, because I don't have any other questions I'm going to ask. I just see some questions that I've been trying to. I think this is a good question, because I think one of the questions is our national membership. It says our national membership in APR, has it grown or declined over the last couple of years?
Okay, so our membership has did decline this year, as well as our APR.
Okay, for those that don't understand that question, what is for membership? I mean, National Alumni Association membership, and the APR is basically the amount of money that's being donated, the giving. It's not APR as in grade point average. I wouldn't assume that's the.
Yes, so APR is your alumni percent of giving.
Alumni percent of rate of giving.
Yes.
There you
go. So that's basically the percentage of your alums who give to the university. And those funds are the funds that they count are those funds that directly go to the development foundation.
So both of them are down.
Yes.
Is there do you have a quick why?
Yes.
A quick why. Yeah,
Yes.
No. And I say that because I got a lot that I ain't gonna rant, but I just want to hear your part. Your part.
Absolutely. Like I said, I work in honesty, integrity, and transparency. So I have no problem. Of course, I would love to say that everything under my administration has flourished, but that would be a lie. And I'm not in the business of lying to people. So one of the things that did decline was our APR. What I will say is because when our APR hit 13.98%, we had an initiative, a PCI initiative, where we did the alumni directory. That was under Dr. Norwood's administration. And at the time, Tarita Benson Davis was the first vice president. So that is a contract that the two of them signed. And because of that initiative, that directory, there was an ask. They could ask either for members to join the National Alumni Association, or they can make a donation to the university. Mm-hmm. So in those acts, and they had the full database, the 50,000, 52,000 plus database that the university holds. Because that PCI organization called every alum that they had contact information for, they made those direct contacts. We were able to increase the APR because of that PCI initiative. Mm-hmm. So what I will say is that we are currently working, because there's a phase 2 of that process for that PCI directory. So now we're in phase 2, which will be an oral history. So the first phase was to do the alumni directory, so all the alums could, provide their information, and we have a database of our alums, right? So the second phase now is an oral history. So you all will be receiving within the next month or two correspondence from the same vendors, and they'll do one of two things. They're going to ask you to join the Alumni Association, or they're going to ask you to give. So what you should see is a boost in our APR, because we're coming back, because I think 2021 was the year that we did the first phase. So now we're on the second phase. So you should see a boost in the APR because of that. And then, of course, we had the prime effect. So a lot of people were giving because they were trying to give to the football team, and they were giving directly to Development Foundation. So those are a number of things. As it relates to the membership decline, not 100% sure in terms of why there was a decline. We did implement a recurring payment option, so our alums could opt in instead of having to say, oh, well, it's July 1st, it's time for me to pay my alumni dues. We had gotten feedback from our alums saying, hey, other organizations and other entities, they allow for us to just do a reoccurring payment. And so we implemented that. However, I think some of the membership initiatives that we've had in the past, we did not have. And so we are going to be extremely intentional. Our second vice president, who will, because of course he's running unopposed, the person who will be second vice president, I believe, yes, Juwan Gray. Yeah, so he's phenomenal. He grew the Dallas chapter when he was president there. When he was RVP of the Southwest region, he also helped to grow that region by adding, I believe, the Oklahoma chapter, statewide chapter. So I know that he will do a phenomenal job in that position in terms of putting out initiatives and being extremely intentional about targeting alums and getting alums to join the Alumni Association. And I think I saw in the chat, someone asked how much alumni dues were. So our alumni dues annually are only $50. We're looking into some incentives. and to increase those dues and strategically in the increase. Yeah.
What do you say? Incentives to get $50?
Not $50 when we go up.
Oh, I don't want
years ago, some of the incentives were, and it wasn't any money that came out of the Alumni Association. Years ago, I think when Dr. Lackey was president, we used to have discounts for hotels, discounts for rental cars, just stuff like that, a discount code. But you know, when people pay money, sometimes they look for something that they could privately say.
We do. That's what we do. I got a couple more questions in because I don't want to run out of time. TD, what you got? I know TD got at least one for me. Huh?
Go ahead, man. I'm just taking it all in right now. Wow.
It's a lot, ain't it?
Yeah, man.
Hey, let me ask you this because I see another question in the chat. It says, what external fundraising and partnerships from a national level have been solidified by the organization the past 2 years? That's a loaded question. That's it.
Okay, say that again.
What external fundraising and partnerships? Yeah, so what external fundraising and partnerships from a national level have been solidified by the organization in the past couple of years?
External fundraising and partnerships.
I have to get out of this thing. Which is why I'm concerned there was no pushback in appointing the president that did not apply.
Okay.
I think we also, again, I understand your position, and I fully understand that. I don't know what we think. Okay, let me play devil's advocate for a quick minute. Let's say we get the statement out. What they're gonna change?
If you do what?
Let's say we go in and I understand what people are saying, and I was a part of that same diatribe and conversation about the process because the president's in place now.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically got told if we really just want to be honest with that, they basically did what they wanted to do. So
right.
That's really what happened if we really get down to it. My question is, what was a statement going to change? I'm not even trying to say, I'm not, and hear me out when I say this, and this is not a question that I won't answer. I mean, this ain't for you, Patrice. I just want to put this out there.
Mm-hmm.
The question is a rhetorical question, which is, if you got that statement, my question to you is, what was that going to change?
It wasn't gonna. So I know it's a rhetorical question.
I don't want to waste time on it because there is no way to answer the question because you're going off of data. You're going off of what happened. It's revisionist history at this point. But at the same time, I don't want to be insensitive to the thoughts and mindsets of those who felt, because I also felt like, what the heck is going on? But I also had to take a step back and realize that we're fighting a bigger battle. And I got another question, and I'll just have to ask that at a different time.
And can I address that just like very briefly?
Yeah, briefly. Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, there are 52,000 alums. And when I say I had people calling me saying, hey, I want this person. Hey, you should say this person. Hey, we should go with this person. There was nothing collectively out of all the phone calls, the correspondence, all the information that I received from alums, emails, correspondence, the alumni base was not on the same page in terms of who they wanted or what they wanted in a president. Some people wanted older, some people wanted younger. So, I mean,
I didn't
making a statement. The biggest thing is that we had an opportunity. For those of you all who do not know, your members on the IHL board are selected by the governor.
Right.
We had an opportunity in the state of Mississippi to turn Mississippi to a blue state. But I don't know if it was our alums. I don't know if it was just people around, but the state of Mississippi did not come out and vote. So your power is in your vote. And if you want change for the university, then you have to put people in place who have the same values as you. But if you continue to allow for the same people because you say, hey, my voice doesn't matter, my vote doesn't matter. Yeah, your one vote by itself may not matter. But if we came together collectively as a unified force, do you know how powerful our university could be in the state of Mississippi? Because when we look at the gerrymandering of the lines drawn and how the lines are drawn in the state of Mississippi, that is why you won't get what you're looking for because we won't do the work. And so we have to be able to do the work.
I don't want anybody to feel like I'm cutting you off.
Nobody, you're fine. You're fine.
I have to say this because what we're not going to act like we did, what we're not going to skate over. You may not say it, but I'll say it because we saw it. We did have a candidate that also was an alum, and there were also some alums that were negligent and some information going out. So when you start doing those types of things, where you start leaking information to paint pictures of a candidate, now you put yourself in a pickle, because if you sabotage a process, that's how you end up with. And I don't say that with any disrespect to President Thompson. I don't. It is what it is. Like I said, it's KC-1400. We do what we do. But my point is, we're not gonna act like that didn't happen. That happened. And the candidate name was G. Johnson. And don't go to war with me on this. I'm gonna just leave that alone, because we need to leave that alone, because I know I go left with it, and I ain't trying to, that's not threatening. I'm just saying we have a platform to speak freely, and we keep it real over here. We ain't finna do that sugarcoat, because I'm not political. I don't get into the political stuff. Absolutely. That's why I said, I want you to understand something. She's the president right now. You're running against Said Myers. We're going to have Said on Monday. Said, come on, do it. I don't really get into all the political stuff, but at the same time, platform, you got 550 people watching, and I know how it pricks people, because this sounds like Ken is arrogant. No, it's not. No, what we do it's accountability for you to stop doing your Bush League tactics and stop doing funny stuff, because the funny stuff is how you put yourself in bad situations. Because I'm going to use Willie Simmons' terms. A lot of our problems is self-inflicted. I'm going to be quiet because I want to get to a couple more questions, and we're running out of time. But I want to scroll back. I want you to answer that question that we did ask, because we didn't get to the question. External fundraising and partnerships from a national level that have been solidified by the organization over the past couple of years. Touch on that a little bit.
Okay, so of course, and what I will say is that because I am the president of this alumni association, I cannot put anything off on anybody else, because ultimately the rise and decline of this organization will fall on me if something were to happen. But what I will say is that the way our alumni association is structured, of course, I am the representative of the organization, spokesperson, things of that nature. First vice president is responsible for fundraising and responsible for those committee chairs. Second vice president is responsible for membership. And of course, secretary, financial secretary. Of course, you all know what those duties are. So external fundraisers, our fundraising, we do biannually, either a gala, but we have a major fundraiser. It's been called the Black Tie Gala, the Blue Tie Gala, and now we're loading up for June 22nd for our ultimate blue and white experience. So that is one fundraiser that we're doing now that's coming up. You'll get information, because we initially were going to the en blanc and blue, but with the blue and white week and all things that were going on, we had only sold 30 tickets, and we had to kind of recalibrate given all of the stuff that's going on campus, and we didn't want people to have to pick and choose what they were going to spend their funds on. So we'll now have Kerwin Claiborne, Dougie Fresh, along with the other 4 artists that we were going to have initially, and that'll be June 22nd. So that is coming up. That's one of the fundraisers. And
that's external?
That's in terms of, what are you talking about? In terms of from JSU NAA?
No, yeah, for JSU NA, that's an external potential partner that we looking at raising some fundraising dollars from.
Yes, that'll be fundraising. So we're working with the Stephen James Foundation, who is the planner for that event. Now we have some external partnerships that we were able to just solidify. Uncle Nearest and Tito's. Uncle Nearest is before we moved
Austin, Texas. Shout out to him.
So Tito's is has agreed to sponsor us, as well as Uncle Nearest, when we do another venture that is not at the convention center. But in my conversations with Uncle Nearest, we were able to secure $8,750 for the university directly. They have an HBCU initiative going on. So every, I think $1 from every bottle of Uncle that you purchase goes into their HBCU pot. And then they select universities to donate funds to. So because of the ask for us for our signature event, myself and Stephen James had a conversation with their, the people that make the decisions about funding for that initiative. We had a conversation with them and we were able to secure the $8,750 for the university. So that's one partnership, Tito's. And so we're working to try to get additional partnerships. In speaking with President Thompson, kind of working to kind of streamline how we do fundraising. So hopefully that will come to fruition, because we have to be able to kind of determine what the university is going to ask for, what the Development Foundation is going to ask for, and what JSU NAA should be asking for, because we can't overtax our donors. So
that is very true. And I think
right.
I think the thing I don't want to get lost in the question, I will finish with this question from Brother C. Lee, because we got to I think that the main extraction was on a national level, just outside donors, some type of national partnership, and what opportunities are there for us from a National Alumni Association. Like TD asked a question about the vast different groups. I mean, you got a lot of chapters in a lot of different places all over the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the questions for some of the alums that are not local, because they don't have the visibility of what's happening locally in the city of Jackson or whatever. It would have to be more so something that is out there. And I guess that was the question that they were asking. Have we seen anything over the past couple of years outside of local ventures that we can identify as national partnerships with fundraising?
So no, but here's the thing. Everywhere I go in any chapter that I visit, I encourage our alums, because we have 30 plus people that are on our executive board, right?
Okay.
30 plus people can't make decisions and know everything for 52,000 alums. So we have committees. You know, I've encouraged people to join the committees. We need representation from all over. We need all opinions, you know, good, bad, or indifferent, because we don't know everything. And we, depending on where your location is, that dictates something totally different. There's a different culture. There's a different, you know, different type of way you engage students, a different type of way you may engage with people in different parts of the country. So we have to have, we have to be able to have information from all over to be able to sustain this organization, because it just does not operate based on what I would like. It operates on what's in the best interest of this organization and how we can truly support our university. So we can't do that with just us. So we have to be able to listen to our, you know, alums from across the country. And anytime that, you know, I've been brought a problem, I try to work towards a solution. So, and I'm open to whatever ideas. That's one thing about me. I don't profess to know everything, but I profess to love Jackson State. And, you know, I have not done everything perfectly. I think, you know, it would be, but, and, you know, I know I may have had some missteps, but, you know, when you come into an organization at the top level, there's a certain learning curve that, you know, comes into play. It doesn't it doesn't give an excuse as to why things have not happened. But of course, there's a learning curve. So some things, every time you have a change in administration, there are going to be some differences in how things are done. Yeah. And of course, there'll be differences of opinion. And so, but I always tell people, I'm always going to go with the will of the body. And that's what anybody that has sat on the board with me or been in an organization with me, they know that I could vote against something.
Mm-hmm.
And my counterpart will tell you there was a platform that, you know, we initiated a mobile app. And because the way it was presented, the funds were not, how much it was going to cost the association was not readily available. And as a result, because my constituents could not make an informed decision, I voted no. But it was voted up, and so we purchased the platform. And of all of the people on that board who were VPs, my region was the one that utilized that platform the most. The one I encouraged all of our alums to make sure that they utilized it because we were paying for it. So I believe in the will of the body. It doesn't matter if I voted against it. If the consensus is this is what we're doing, I am wholeheartedly 100% going to get behind it because that is the will of the body, and I believe in the will of the body, not the individual.
One more question. I want to get to this question that CD got on the screen.
Okay.
What is the policy of the JSU NAA on partnering with other JSU stakeholders, faculty, senate, states, staff, students, and community to create a more unified voice? Can you provide an example of that?
Okay, so one, we don't have a policy on that. But what we had started working on, and this is when Yolanda Owens was the interim VP for Division of Institutional Advancement. Yolanda Owens, G. Johnson, Derek Pope, God rest his soul, myself, and Cedric. We had like bi-weekly meetings that we held because we had started the process of developing what we called a RACI. And that was to determine what entities were going to do what, because you have basically three entities that do fundraising for Jackson State University. That's the the Division of Institution Advancement, Development Foundation, and JSU NAA. So what we had started to do prior to Mr. Polk passing away was to sit at the table and identify what roles and responsibilities each entity would have. And so we started to carve that out. But of course, Yolanda left the university. And then, of course, Mr. Polk passed away. So that has kind of been halted. But we were looking at, number one, when I told you not overtaxing our donors, but looking at specifically who will go after what donors, and then whose responsibility certain things were. And so hopefully once the Development Foundation's board is solidified, because I think they're adding some more members in the coming months. So once we have that taken care of, we'll start back on that RACI so that we can kind of streamline it. And of course, the university is going to be hiring a permanent VP for institutional advancement. And so I'll be on that hiring committee. So hopefully we'll be able to get that process started so that we can make sure some things in fundraising is streamlined and we have those partnerships. Now, what I will say is that while we do not have a policy on how we engage those entities, I do have a really good relationship with each one of them. I have a good relationship. I think I talked like 2 hours one weekend with G. Johnson, but we have an open line of communication. In terms of our student body, I have a great relationship with our student leaders. Madison Kathy, who was the previous SGA president, flew her to, with my travel budget, flew her to Charlotte, North Carolina, because we had attended Alcorn's midwinter conference. She had an opportunity to engage with those student leaders that way. So that's one way I've supported, again, with my actual school, making sure that JSU students are working with our high school students, and then our alums are working with our college students. And what was the other entity? We said student, faculty senate, faculty and staff senate. I have a good relationship with Ms. Harper and Don McLean, Bishop, Don Bishop McLean. So I have a really good relationship with them. So they communicate to me, what they're doing. So pretty much just building that relationship, making sure that we all are kind of working together. They give me information in terms of the things that, they would like to see from the Alumni Association, things that are going on at the university. And what I will say is President Thompson is extremely transparent. I have received more information. I know more of what's going on with the university under his leadership. We talk at least 1 to 2 times a week, at least weekly. So have a great relationship with him. And I just want to say this one thing about President Thompson. And I know some people are still upset about how we received.
We want him on the show.
Huh?
We want him on the show.
I will let him know.
We want him on the show. Keep going, but keep going.
He does
We're
not.
gonna get him on the show.
He does not shy away from anybody. He definitely wants to be engaged with alums. He has stated that he wants to try to get around to every alumni chapter. So I appreciate that. But what I will say to our alums out there, President Thompson, he graduated from Jackson State University with his executive PhD. He received that PhD in urban higher education. Okay. So that is Jackson State's program. So if Jackson State cannot prepare the next leader of our university, then why do we have that program? That's my thing. So I would say to you all to give him a chance.
Zordon, Zordon Masters, you speak for yourself. I ain't mean to cut you off. You don't know what I'm working on, but I'm gonna just keep going, sis.
Give him a chance. Because like I said, to not support our university president and the leadership at our university is to commission the demise of the university. But definitely, you do not want a bunch of yes men at the table. I never want a bunch of yes men at the table. I need somebody to candidly tell me what I'm doing wrong, how I can do it better. I don't need you to say, yes, ma'am. Yes, that's great. Everything that I do is not great. And I need somebody that can tell me when we need to ramp up some things. So that's me. I'm transparent. I try to be as honest as possible. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I don't profess to be perfect, but I do love this organization. I love the university, and every decision that I make is with the best interest of the students, the university, and the National Alumni Association.
So I won't do rapid fire here. I need quick answers. I mean like few words. All right. How many of the 52,000 alums? How many actually on that are members? Just a roundabout.
We have about 4,038, if I'm not mistaken.
So we got about 47,000 folks that ain't in. All right, I got you.
Now, what I will say is that now that's a rough number because, of course, I think the university still works off a banner. So you have to remember we've had alums who have unfortunately passed away. Don't know if the system has been purged. We've had people who have double, triple graduated from Jackson State. They may be counted multiple times. I know that was an issue. So hopefully in working with the consultant that they have for the Division of Institution Advancement to kind of filter out some things and being able to sit on the committee to share this information with whoever is going to be hired, that we will get a different program in place so that we can filter out all of that, because I don't believe we're at 52,000. I just believe that, we may be close, but we don't have a exact number.
So we got about 4,800. That's what we at about right there.
Yes, but the thing is if they report 52,000, then that's the number. I mean,
just 4,800 that's actually donated. That's part of the membership.
Right.
Okay, so let me do this real quick. And all right, this is a good question. So it says, if there are no platforms of communication with alumni in the past couple of years, how can we side with the will of the body? Like, you understand that question?
What was it again?
It's on the screen. If there are no platforms of communication with alumni in the past couple of years, so how can we side with the will of the body? Like, what does that mean?
There are no platforms of communication.
How do you side with the will of the body? How do you if the line of communication is there, how does the alumni be able to impact the that's a good question. But it is a little confusing in a sense. How do we side?
Yeah, I need that.
Jerome,
I don't want to make any assumptions.
I'll tell you what. Let me do this then, and we got to get out of here. In your opinion, nope. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Why are you a better candidate of the candidate that's running? We pause on that. You just gave your resume. What innovative projects will stop if your presidency is not extended? I think the latter part of that question is a better part to try to ask real quick. You got anything you're working on that's going to come to a halt if let's say the election happens, you're not renewed, a new person, a new candidate gets in, what stops?
So I'm not in the business of tearing anybody down. And I'm not going to do that this evening. So it is my sincere hope that whoever is elected will continue to build and grow this organization. You know, when I came into place, there were some things that I did a little differently than Dr. Norwood. But in no way was I going to halt anything that she has started that was positive in nature, that was going to move this organization forward. So it is my hope, if I am not, if it's unfortunate enough that I'm not reelected, that whatever we're doing that is of benefit to this organization, that won't halt. But you won't ever hear me say a bad word about any candidate that's running for this organization. Because
Absolutely.
What I will say is that if you don't have anybody that seeks to hold these positions, then what can you say about your organization?
Outstanding. Listen, I go ahead and give the specifics on the voting again, and you can make a quick closing comment, and then we'll get you out. Man, this has been. I didn't even mind going over it. I don't really care because the back end of what we're going to talk about is going to be expanding on some of the stuff that's kind of happening around, and you can kind of. We're going to have multiple conversations. I know that the voting starts next week, but I'll let you kind of speak to that, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the latter part of the last hour of the show, because I got some more. I'm still charged up. Come on with it.
Okay, so number one, everybody that's out here, if you are not a part of Alumni Association, we need you to join JSUNAA.org. That's how you can go in, do your membership. If you haven't renewed it, go ahead and renew it. If you have not been an alum, huh?
I told somebody drop the link in the chat so everybody can go and click the link and join. Go ahead.
Okay, so JSUNAA.org. Go in, join. It's only $50. You know, we are looking to increase those dues, but right now it's only $50. So please make sure that you join. Live membership at the regular live membership, that's only $550. So that can be paid over the course of 1 year with a $150 deposit. So we need you to join. We need you not only to have season tickets, but we need you to be able to give. Our Sonic Boom is going to Pasadena, California in January of 2025. They need $850,000. It'd be great if we can get $1 million, because when we know that when the football team was not doing well, we came to see the Boom.
That's facts.
So if nobody else is supported, we need to support Dr. Little. We need to support the Sonic Boom of the South, and you need to give to that entity. You all should have received that. If you have not received that, I can make sure that Ken gets that out to you all so that you can make sure you support the Boom. Got it? The other thing is that Coach Reed, we need to support her. We need to support all of our programs. But Coach Reed is doing the darn thing. So it is my hope and prayer that she will stay on. But if she chooses to leave and go somewhere else, please, 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 alums, don't tear her down, because some people have left for less than $1. So we have to be able to support our own. We have to be proud of the work that they do. And when other people want them, that gives us a stronger platform to be able to do the things that we do. Because if she leaves us, she's not leaving us. She's just showing that the value of a Jackson State University education and what we have to offer here at JSU. So it's not a slight to us. So please, please, please just support her and whatever it is that she does, because she is a phenomenal human being, as well as our athletic director. But like Ken said, elections you should receive a ballot between April 8th through the 12th. If you are a paid alum, you paid your dues before December 31st, you should receive a ballot. If you paid your dues after December 31st, you will not receive a ballot because those dues had to be paid as of December 31st to qualify to vote. It is my sincere hope that you will make an informed decision. While I have not been perfect, my love for Jackson State is perfect. My desire to see this organization grow is perfect. And my desire to engage with all of you and to hear from all of you is pure. So I will put my phone number out there. Any correspondence that I have for those who are voting members, it has my phone number, my email address out there because I welcome those conversations. I'm not going to shy away from a conversation. I appreciate you all's feedback, your commentary. While I've been talking, I haven't had the opportunity to look at all of the questions in the chat. But Ken, do you have a way to capture those questions? Because I definitely want to be able to address them at some point.
Well, what you can do is you can just click the link. It'll be in the live chat on the show. And I'll tell you what, drop your email address. Let's put that email address in the chat. What is it? Let me go ahead and put that in there now. And listen, if you got any questions, and listen, I don't envy your role.
Right. I was just about to say
I'm being real. That's a job I don't want. I wouldn't ever want it because it's a hard job. And I got respect for you. I got respect for Sayed. I got respect for all of you guys because, man, it's a hard job to do this for JSU. Hell, it's hard to do this platform and manage.
I can only imagine.
Social. I'm not making light of it. It is a tough job, and I don't mind seeing tough questions asked. As long as it's respectful, there's nothing wrong with asking tough questions. It is what it is. Like you said, you transparent, and we wanted to open it up and keep it a buck. That's what this platform is for, to have real, true, intelligent dialogue. Respectful dialogue.
Absolutely.
So, there's some questions that some folks may want to have. Give me your email address. Let me drop that in the chat. Matter of fact, just drop it in the chat. You can actually go to your phone and in the comment section, just drop your contact information. No, don't drop your cell phone number. Just put your email address because it'd be some weirdos on YouTube as well. We don't need nobody spamming you like that.
And Patrice, you said many times that you may have some imperfection, and we understand that. I mean, no one, there's no one's going to be perfect on anything, but the fact that you've taken the initiative to do what you're doing and want to do what you're doing, it seems like you really enjoy what you're doing because you hadn't been shy of information, and you have been as transparent as possible on this show. So whether you made some mistakes or not, whether you offended some people or not, I mean, let's go with the territory. So just keep your head up and keep pushing, and keep making JSU the best JSU that you can. And I'm about to join. I got to figure out what all these different the Tiger Life and the blue and white and all that stuff. I don't know which one I'm gonna join. But I am. And you've been kind of talking to me for a while about doing it, and I just never took the time to do it. But I am going to do it. That's my word.
Yeah, and just remember, when we look at funding our university, corporations are looking at if the alums don't support Jackson State, why should we support Jackson State? So keep that in mind. And the narrative is a lot of times people are saying, oh, well, you have, new graduates or whatnot. It does not matter. They don't care how much. When we look at the percent of giving, they're looking at how many alums actually give, not the dollar amount. So if you gave 50 cents, a quarter, $1, that counts towards increasing that APR. So if all 52,000 alums just gave something,
what about
it's not about the amount. It is not about the amount. It is strictly about the amount of alums that give. So we need, if it's 52,000 alums, we need 52,000 alums to give something, a penny, a quarter. Just think, if you do $1 per alum, you have $52,000 that's going to the university. If you do 2, you got $104,000 that's going to the university. That adds up. So we understand everybody has a different financial, stance. The question was asked to me this evening in a meeting about how much I gave personally. I don't have a problem with telling you that, but you can't compare me to a person who's in the corporate world, getting compensation for, the deals that they're doing when I work in education, and they don't pay educators. So it's not about the amount you give, it's about that you give. So give at the level that you can afford, but we need you to give. And everybody, you can pick up a quarter off the street and give that, and that'll work.
So Patrice, how does the day of giving and being a member of the alumni chapter, how does that coincide, or does it?
It does.
How does what?
How does the day of giving and the all the different fundraising, it all counts? Because if everybody gave, the problem, TD, with that is on an average of the day of giving only about 3,500 give.
Right, and then all of those people are not alums either.
Right. So
if you're not in a system like you may have somebody that is an associate member of the Alumni Association. They don't count them as alums. They count people who graduated from Jackson State University in their count. So July 1st to June 30th is the fiscal year. So when we talk about JSU Day of Giving under my administration, when I came into the leadership role, I asked for them to budget in $50,000 each year for athletics. Dr. Norwood, prior to her leaving, had added additional $20,000 to the ask for that for athletics, and that's for scholarships, because of course we have some sports that are non-revenue generating. So to be able to assist in athletics, so that's $50,000 that we give. And then when we talk about regular scholarships, that's another $50,000 we have earmarked. But that $50,000 that we give each year on JSU Day of Giving, we give soft credit to everybody who at that time on that date are alums. So if we had 3,000 alums who were financial as of the day of giving, that $50,000 counted as a soft credit towards them in an effort to increase our APR. But the APR lies with the university. So this is what I want people to know. The APR lies with the university. That's not with the Alumni Association. The Alumni Association has sought to assist the university increasing the APR, but that is not a JSU NAA initiative. That belongs to the university.
Wow. A lot of information. No more questions. Boy, you need to get you some water. You're rolling, man. Whole hour, 15 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's twice the time, and it's okay because we need to get this information out. I'm excited because we thankful that you guys decided to grace the platform to anytime.
I can. So I think
and Jeremiah, no, it's not a paid position. It is a volunteer position.
Oh my goodness.
No more questions, TD. We got to move on. Let's go.
No. I just about to say. So we're gonna receive something in the mail. Would we fill it out and ship it back or something? If that's what.
Only those who are currently alum that had their dues paid will be able to vote.
Are you talking about for
the vote?
The vote, yeah. So those are for any alum that paid their dues by December 31st of 2023.
Yeah,
they will receive a ballot electronically. We've streamlined that because we were spending in excess of thousands of dollars to send out paper ballots. So those are now electronic to save money because I believe in being fiscally responsible. Right. So those will be electronic. We did have 616 members who did not have contact information. So if you are, and yes, associate members do have a vote. If you are, if you are a paid alum, you paid your dues before December 31st or by December 31st, please go into jsunaa.org, check to make sure that your email address is correct, because we had 616 people that did not have email addresses. So those people will not receive a ballot. And then we had another 300 plus people whose email addresses bounced back. So please, please, please go to JSUNAA.org to check your account to make sure that your information is correct prior to Monday.
Got it. Hey, sis, thank you. I appreciate you for coming
I
up.
appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You have a great night, and we're going to finish this show. We got about another hour to go. Brother C, come on up, man. We got some stuff to get into. Thank you, sis.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you.
All right, now. The link is out there for Brother C. Lee. Appreciate you, man. That was a man, action pack. I told y'all it was an action packed show, man. I tried to tell him, Brother C. Lee, I tried to tell him it was gonna be an action packed show tonight, man. Long show. Hey, we got a lot more to discuss. Don't run up. Hey, don't y'all run away now. We got some stuff to finish talking about. Brother C. Lee called me today. The ruling with the airport. We got to touch on that. But I got some DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff I do want to touch on. I got a couple of things that I do want to touch on, man, that is kind of near and dear to my heart. And actually, I was just kind of scouring on the internet, and I was looking at a few things. But I'll let you kind of open it up. Celia, you want to start with the airport stuff, or do you want to go into the diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff?
Well, we can start with the airport stuff, just because the biggest thing is just get the information out there. So that was and this is important because it's about what happens and how what happens gets reported. So the media was reporting today's ruling by the appeal board as a victory for the state, right? As you guys know, the state is trying to take over the airport. Just a little background on that. Airports are like townships. A lot of people don't know that airports are like townships. Like an airport is like a city. So the legislature gives you a charter to have a city. They give you a charter to have an airport. And they have the ability, if they can show that something is wrong, to take your charter. So that's what's happening here. They're trying to take Jackson's charter. The problem is they've never demonstrated that the airport is being run poorly. So that's their problem. So there was, as you know, with lawsuits and with litigation, there are side arguments. And so one of the side arguments, or one of the issues that's being raised by the state, is that Jackson shouldn't be allowed. and again, this is where you know the foolishness of just evil people just say what they want to say and do what they want to do. The argument and ruling today was that Jackson shouldn't be allowed to keep its airport because the people who were on the airport authority board when the lawsuit was filed is not on the airport authority board today. That was the argument that the state was making, and the appeals court agreed that there's no standing in that cause since all of the airport, the people who were on there are no longer there. But all that does is raise an issue that they were trying to argue. Now it's going to go back to the circuit court, and Jackson is still going to make the case that you shouldn't take our airport. But this was one of those cases where the state is seeking some kind of summary judgment by saying, which is dumb, hey, the people who are on the airport authority board no longer on there, as if the lawsuit was about those individuals and not about the city of Jackson and the airport authority board. So I just want people to know that ruling today does not keep the city of Jackson from continuing its litigation to fight for the airport. And I told you, and I said this on here, a lot of people may remember about 3 or 4 months ago, think of this case, and I hate to say it this way, Ken, think of this case like the NBA Finals. You got 2 games at your crib, I got 2 games in my crib. What happened? You win 2 at your crib, we win 2 at our crib, right? We wish it would be more fair, but you understand The conservative boards, we gonna lose. I mean, the conservative courts, we gonna lose. The non-conservative courts, we gonna win. And eventually, we gonna play Game 7 at the Supreme Court. So no matter what you hear, this case is going to the Supreme Court. It's gonna go to the Supreme Court. You know, I know my analogy is gonna go to the Supreme Court 3-3, baby. We gonna have a Game 7. So, but the way that the Clarion Liar, or that is the Clarion Ledger, likes to report things, it had people thinking that, that the legislature can move forward and now take the airport. That's not the case. This was just one of those smoke and mirror cases where they were trying to say, and you're right, Tiger Nation undefeated. Nobody stays on the board forever, which made it a dumb argument from the jump. But these are the kinds of things that they do. So I just wanted to put that out there to let folks know the battle is still there. And unless you hear a Supreme Court ruling, because both sides are adamant this going to the Supreme Court. So I want to be clear about this. Go ahead, Ken, you muted.
That was Mayor Lumumba's response. I see it in court. Yep,
exactly.
So the APT kind of reported things that for people that don't understand who is trying to take the airport, answer that question. No. Answer that question.
Okay. So the people who are trying to take the airport are the people who left the city once Jackson had a large enough black population to control the city. Essentially, and this happens in every metro area. Once a city becomes about 35-40% black, right around that 40-42% black, you start seeing white flight. Clinton is actually on that precipice now. I got to give the neo-Confederates in Clinton their props. They just decided they're going down the hill because we at 40% now, and these neo-Confederates in Clinton, they decided they were going down the hill. Well, the neo-Confederates in Jackson, once we were able to elect a black mayor and a majority black city council, they left the city. But then they realized after they left the city, oh damn, we forgot the zoo and we forgot the airport. Now, just so you know, they actually started undercutting by underfunding the zoo before they left. They were actually trying to move the zoo as they moved. So all the stuff you hear about the zoo, and we'll get into that, but that was what they were trying to do with the zoo. The problem with the airport is, here's the thing. A lot of people don't know, Ken, the airport generates $900 million a year. It's hard to say that you're a failure when you generate $900 million a year. And here's one credit that the airport authority and the black mayors haven't gotten. People talked about we lost Southwest, but we got it back though. And I think that's something that people need to understand, that under a black mayor and a black city council and a black, y'all know I love to talk about Negro and F2, but I have to say this.
Yep.
The Jackson Airport Authority, under the being appointed by the mayor, has not fallen off. The airport does not lose money. It is considered one of the prime working airports around. It's just small, and I think a lot of times people equate small to bad. No, we're just small because we don't get a lot of traffic. But regardless of being small, 900 million. I'll just leave it there. So you can't tell me that it's being run poorly when we are grossing 800 to 900 million. That's right, D85 Tiger. So it's a well-oiled machine. So Ken, if there's anything else you want to add to that, but I just want to let people know it's going to be a Game 7 in the Supreme Court.
Do you have any idea as to when that case probably will go to the Supreme Court?
Anywhere from now till 3 to 5 years from now.
I got
yeah, that's in fact, man, how do I want to say this? Because this will segue into what you want to get into, kind of. The problem, with DEI, and there's actually a statute where some of the PWIs could take a statute and file something similar to the Ayers case. But the reason nobody wants to do that, because that's a 10-year process. So a lot of times when people talk about certain types of litigation, you have to understand that certain types of litigation, right? You know this game. So hey, buckle up. Unless the Supreme Court, here's what would have to happen. The Supreme Court would have to decide that they're going to expedite this issue. And from based on what I know, and I know Trent is in the chat, and if there are any other lawyers in the chat, the only time the Supreme Court expedites an issue is when it's something of national interest or emergency, right? So I wouldn't look for the Supreme Court to expedite our airport litigation, because I don't think that would be something seen as a national emergency or a national issue. I'll shut up on that.
No, I think the Jackson, listen, I see this from a very, I got a lot of experience flying into Jackson. And it's the hardest, it's a hard flight to catch now, man, because every time you go in, it's a lot of people flying in. And I can just tell you, it's not a lot of people that look like me on the flights. It's a very, when I come in, it's always like this. And y'all know how often I come to Jackson. Say, can we get it adjourned to Capitol Takeover?
Oh, let me say this. I'm glad Sister Sheila D said that. The legislation to take over Jackson Water and the board that they want to count is the exact same legislation for taking over the airport. Like, it's basically copy and paste.
It is.
Yeah, it's so here's all the things that are connected. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Sister SLT. Go read the bill to take over Jackson Water. Go read the bill to take over Jackson's airport. Go read the bill to create a new court in the city of Jackson, and go read the bill that allows people outside the city of Jackson to remove Jackson and Hinds County elected officials. All those bills are essentially cut and paste bills. So yes, you should and must see all of that, as Tiger Nation Undefeated says, the grand scheme, because the bottom line is they can leave Jackson, but they understand that Jackson is the capital. Like, see, Jackson is that thing you threw away and then realize that's the honey you need to keep.
Yeah, she went and got fined on you. Came back.
You know what happened, kid? She didn't get fined. It was that 80-20 rule. They went out there for the 80. Now they missing that 20. And boy, they missing that 20.
Hey, I got it, man. Listen. This is, know what? Go ahead, TD. You got something?
Yeah, silly.
Yes, sir.
Did you say? Hey man, where all the money going, bro? Did you say 900 million or how much did you say?
Yeah.
So, what a financial issue lies.
Well, that money, because of how it's situated as a charter, has to support the county, the city, and the state. So it doesn't just like, I would love to say that 900 million is just for us, right? But that 900 million, but also TD, the other thing is Jackson is so tax-based deprived that what we get from the 900 million is keeping our shoestring budget alive. The problem, and I'll say this again, is that people who live in Jackson and Hinds County spend too much money outside of Jackson and Hinds County, so that the money that we get from the airport is not enough to run the city. So it's when we say shop Jackson and shop Hinds County. Like, let me give an example. And again, I'm not picking on anybody, just let me give you an example. Somebody tell me why Jackson State had its homecoming concert in Madison County. You see what I'm saying? We make those kind of economic blunders. So you have a homecoming concert for your school in your city, and yet a county that doesn't want you, doesn't respect you. We at Jackson State have to stop letting people profit off of our goodness and our labor. We also need to step up and tell people when you come to the games, make sure you first check the hotels in Hinds County. Regardless of what you feel about Clinton, Clinton's in Hinds County. Stay in a hotel in Hinds County if you can't get one in Jackson before you stay in a hotel outside of Jackson. Go ahead, TD. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You can go right. You can go to righttovisitjackson.com, man. They got everything you need right there on the site. And I know they promote predominantly Jackson, but it's to the same point. But Clinton's included in that as well. Go ahead, TD, and we're gonna move on.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really hate to say this, but the truth is what it is. I mean, but we no longer have Sam's. We no longer have the Best Buys. I mean, we no longer have movie theater.
I ain't got Sam neither. I'll get that.
But
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna break the news tonight. I'm gonna break the news on the platform. I just want y'all to.
But what I'm saying, C-Lee, is I mean, I hear what you're saying about Shop Jackson, and I'm all about shopping Jackson, visiting stores and things like that, man. But unfortunately, a lot of the entertainment scenes are in the surrounding cities.
Sandra,
I agree, TD, but at some point, when do we make a decision to invest our money to get it back? So for instance, let me be honest with you. And again, I used to have a Sam's card. My father had a Sam's card. The minute Sam's left Hinds County, I shredded that Sam's card. Sam's can go to hell. Now, check this out though. Who owns Sam? Who owns Sam, TD? Who owns them? Walmart. So the same thing you get at Sam's, that's what you can get. The only difference between Sam's and Walmart is that you can buy in bulk in Sam's. But if you got, and I don't never use it, where am I? I'm trying to find my card. I can't find my card.
For those that don't know, Sam's Club was started in 1983.
Yes.
It was designed for businesses to fund their, from a bulk standpoint. How do I know that? Because I'm employed by Sam's Club.
And I'm trying to find my it must be in my jacket, my suit jacket.
That's why I'm sitting up here laughing, because Brother C-Lee saying it's the Walton family, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not getting all that stuff, man. But
yeah, Sam Walton.
It's a Walmart company.
Sam Walton. And so what I tell people is there's nothing at Sam's that you can't get at Walmart. And if you get a Walmart card like I have, you can actually do the bulk at Walmart the same way you do at Sam's. So you are right, TD. I want to be clear. You are right that we don't have enough things when we talk about, hey, I want to go eat out here. I want to go do this. I want to do that. But part of the reason, TD, is because we don't make a conscientious choice to make a conscientious choice to shop ourselves. Anyway.
Jeremiah,
I know. I'm not gonna even y'all. I mean, that's.
come on, bro. It's like I get it, and it's not. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. We know what Jackson is, and we know why certain things happen the way that they are. And I would just say this: it is a real thing, but if you're not willing to have a real dialogue behind the essence of why certain crimes are what they are, and it just is what it ain't gonna make no excuse for it. And I ain't finna debate you. That I ain't finna do. And stop spamming the chat too, bro. I'm gonna just say that loosely, and I'm gonna move on. Because that's a real thing, but it ain't always. That's the same argument that they use, bro. That's the same argument they use. It's always that's the same thing, bro. It ain't no different.
And that's not everywhere, man.
Let me. No. I'll answer it this way. Let's go nationally, locally, and then I'll be through with it. Nationally and locally. Nationally, white people still commit the largest amount of crime nationally. And the only place where black people commit more crime than white people is when we are the larger population. So this whole notion about there's more black crime than white crime is a lie, because the statistics don't bear it out, right? Nationally, black people commit 24% of the crime, period. So that means that somebody else is committing 76% of the crime. So the question is, why don't we talk about that 76% of the crime? So what we know is that WLBT, WAPT, WJTV, and the Clarion Liar, all of them disproportionately show black crime when we know that white crime continues to outpace black crime nationally, and black crime only outpaces white crime in places where we're the majority. That's it. That's the end of that. So anybody who's using crime is using a red herring, and it's a false argument, and it shows a lack of critical research. And I'll just leave it with that.
I would just say this, and I'm not going to do the debating and all that. I mean, if that's how I ain't gonna waste no time with it. But here's what I will say: crime is relative to resources. You know, if you take a group, if you take man, you know how this works, man. It just. I'm gonna say what Zoe said, and I'm gonna use my brother. I know he got sleepy on us. We are the only people that got to fight against everybody else and us.
Yep. Yep. Oh. Let me tell you one other thing. I'm really not trying to denigrate him and act, but again, it's a comfortable thing. That sounds just like what about Chicago? That's the same thing, man. Shout out to Patrice, I know East St. Louis, I know she's in Illinois. Shout out to Montanez, Ivy, and Dan Williams. Remember my guys from up there. But keep going. So the Byron, let's deal with Byron. Although I'm still salty that Byron became a city because they did it on Jackson tax dollars and that land like Jackson. So I got some issues with Byron being able to incorporate. But here's something people don't know. Ken, did you know that 20 years ago, Byron had a private investor, and they had gotten together and developed an MOU where that private investor was going to invest in the Byron, right? You know how you go in, you build your MOU, we're going to do this. So it may have been 30 years ago. So they have this MOU. And so what they did was in a 7-year plan, they came back and they checked the demographics, still got the plan. After 10 years, they checked the demographic and the investor pulled out. Now check this out, Ken. Byram's, the jobs and the earning power in Byram had not changed. So they had the same types of professionals and the same type of average economic. What do you think changed to cause that investor to pull out?
What's that?
The population became blacker. But it was the same money. I need people to be clear. They had the same number of teachers, doctors, lawyers. They had the same economic base. But the only reason this investor pulled out wasn't because of crime, wasn't because the money had dropped, wasn't because the populations had changed. It pulled out because they just basically didn't want to do business with black people. That's the thing that. So that's it. I'll end on that. We can go to the DEI.
No. I got some. Listen, man. I'm gonna say something because I just had something happen to me personally just recently, and this just happened. Now I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna disqualify myself, but at the same time, I'm gonna share something without really going too personal. Go ahead, brother C. Lee. TD, I will invest in Jackson, from a real estate standpoint. I'll just leave it at that. But I found myself looking at a spot in Madison. Madison. I've been in Madison. My dad been in Madison since I was 7, bro. It's 1989, right? And got all the way to the end, CD and TD. Business partner, everything. You got the capital, got the credit, got everything. I literally just listen to me, y'all. I personally just experienced this week a group of underwriters that don't look like me tell me that I cannot purchase a property in Lost Rabbit. Yeah. And it bothered me for a couple days, man, because I'm like, perfect credit, money, cap, you got the liquid assets, you got everything you need. Hold a special meeting, not just for just that property. It was some other stuff. I'm not getting all that, but it was just a lot going on with that. They
give you a reason?
Well, for
It's
one,
redlining.
they said that I wrote off too much. I had too many tax write-offs. I said that the IRS ain't. I've been studying. Look, man, I've been studying tax law since I was a teenager, bro. My dad a CPA. I'm like, how the hell does the IRS okay with everything that you're doing, and then you sitting in a room? Now, I already know they have their meetings on Wednesday, TD, at this particular bank. I ain't gonna say no names, but they called a certain meeting because a particular broker that was on the other side, he had a whole lot of other stuff. But let me tell y'all something. I'm a man of faith. I don't ever be where I'm not supposed to be, and nothing ever happens that ain't supposed to happen. So if it falls through, then guess what? I knew it wasn't supposed to happen. I had some reservations, TD, because I did have thoughts. Okay, you know what? But I'm just saying, like, the reason was straight bullshit. I'm gonna just say it that way because I was like, damn, in 2024, y'all had to hold a special meeting because y'all had to figure out how in the world we gonna tell these folk that they can't do this, because it was some commercial stuff involved in it too. So it was just like, damn, we got all how we say 820 credit score, money, everything there. And it made me say, you know what? We are walking into 1960. Because I don't know if people realize what they see happening. I ain't even trying to make this about me. Y'all, I have too been affected by some of the stuff that's going on. I told the chat what happened to me today. Y'all, I got called into this thing that I'm doing right now. Y'all can believe it or you don't have to believe it. I got the ultimate confirmation today. TD, should I share it or should I leave it alone? What do you think I should do?
I mean,
real.
I mean, it's your business, bro. However you want to handle it.
Y'all remember I told y'all a year ago what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to do this full time going into this. I'm going all the way down there. Well, you know, hey, got the ultimate call today. That same company you just got finna talking about, Brother C. Lee, you work your butt off to get to a certain role. And I told y'all I was the only person that looked like me in my role. Got a call today. Hey, that role is absolutely done as of May 15th, bro. I was like, wow. Just straight like that, dog. Just like that now. I said, boy, God, you know how to look. I'm over here double dutching. Should I not? He said, I'm going to just cut the cord. You ain't got no choice but to now. Now, we already been elevating and doing what we was doing, but that was like, okay, now I know now. Now it done got for real. But I just want folks to understand that, and this ain't even about me, but y'all don't understand. See, I really want to talk. There's a lot of folks that's in our community that talk about that little time when 45 was in the office. And we got them little old bitty little, you know, that little small moment where we felt like we was getting some stuff. And people will start saying, oh man, that was the best time we had. Y'all didn't even realize this dude was doing all kind of stuff that was actually destroying. He was destroying processes. He was destroying laws. He was putting Supreme Justice in. I mean, he was doing all this stuff, man. And now these folks are taking DEI and coining it as almost like fighting words almost. You see what I'm saying? Everything has been, if you don't believe me, I tell you what, I got it. Trust me, I got it prepared. I'm gonna play something for the TD. This happened in South Carolina. Y'all give me just a second.
This legislation was drafted by members of this General Assembly and did not include anybody at the table that looked like me.
When we try to target a specific group of people and make the language intentionally vague, we don't realize that we are also going to negatively affect students, like how they mentioned at the deaf and blind school, or students who may have other types of barriers ahead of them.
So let me tell y'all something, man. In South Carolina, it done hit Florida, it done hit Alabama, it done hit Texas, and now it done hit South Carolina. What's in common with all those states? That's the original 13, baby. That's the Deep South. And this is not by happenstance. And I'm gonna talk about what happened at UT. In South Carolina, man, they did an anti-discrimination bill. Do you know how dangerous that is, man, to put an anti-discrimination? That means I can do to you what I want to do to you, and you can't sue me for discrimination. Now, listen what he said. All right, in South Carolina, State Representative Leon called out his Republican peers after they developed the DEI restriction bill, that passed 84-30 on Wednesday. That was today. And voted to limit debate and prevent lawmakers from proposing any more changes. We had no black people involved in the crafting of this legislation, so y'all don't know how we feel today. Howard Rule been in the House since 1995. He said we feel some type of way about that. We feel offended about that. According to the Associated Press, the bill does not define DEI, but will ban colleges, universities from considering DEI factors when deciding which students to accept or which people to hire. The bill states that the schools can keep its DEI programs. However, they are required to report to the General Assembly on how they must cost and how much they cost and how they resolve any complaints about them. Next one. Republican State Representative Adam Morgan said discrimination was wrong in the past and it's wrong in the present during a speech after the bill was passed. Do you know these folks are reversing it and making it sound like, because they're making it to the point now to where DEI bills are now out, they're getting people to think that diversity, equity, and inclusion is actually discriminating against non-minorities, against white folks. So he said Republicans said they believe the DEI programs try to solve problems caused by discrimination with more discrimination. What this bill does is strangle any concept of diversity. It strangles the freedoms to learn and teach. We refuse to stand by and simply accept that Democratic, whatever his name is, counter explaining why this bill will continue discrimination that shaped life in the county in the country today. Associated Press reports this bill might not have guaranteed a future when it reaches the Senate. With only 6 weeks left in the General Assembly session, 2 of them will take up for debate in the state's $13.2 billion. Somebody said, okay, Ken, all right, that's just one. I want y'all to listen to this, man, because this hit home. I actually know some of the people that was affected by this. Check this out, y'all. I'm gonna just show you, I'm gonna just put this up there. Because somebody sent this to me, and this is one of my buddies sent me this morning. This is young Black Austin. Of course, you know, Black Austin got a population of a black population of probably less than 5%. It's predominantly white and Hispanic, predominantly Hispanic and white, I guess you can say. Capital city of Texas said just in, an employee from UT's Division of Campus and Community Engagement tells me at least 20 employees from the program are being fired effective July the 5th. To comply with Texas DEI laws, UT says it's discontinuing all programs and activities that now overlap. And it went on to say, but this is what I wanted to, this is why I wanted to put this up here, because I do want to create dialogue. And look, man, we're going to drop the chat. We're going to open it up. If you want to come up, you can come up and chop it up with us, man. But look, I got a short video. I just want y'all to see what was reported on this and how they received it and what was said. I'll be right back.
20 UT Austin employees linked to diversity, equity, and inclusion work on campus. They're set to lose their jobs effective July 5th, and this is according to our sources.
Now, those employees involved in diversity, equity, and inclusion and now without a job, even though their position titles and department names had changed. Our Jayla Washington talked to one of those who was told they lost their job today.
On the other line of this anonymous phone call,
we had a meeting we were not aware of before today.
A UT employee unsure what comes next after a short notice mandatory meeting Tuesday.
You know, there are all these thoughts that were going through my head.
The employee, a part of the operations team within the university's Division of Campus and Community Engagement, says they got word from a university higher-up their department would be closing. All 20 of the operations team members losing their jobs effective July 5th.
It is really disappointing for them not to see what goes on day to day with these students and be out of touch with what they are doing by dropping this bomb.
This news comes 1 week after State Senator Brandon Creighton sent a letter to institutions warning of consequences for not allowing SB 17. That's the law that bans diversity, equity, and inclusion in Texas. He asked for university leaders to prepare compliance updates for an education hearing in early May.
To make sure that as we're seeking diverse outcomes, that we don't bring the results that DEI offices were bringing, which is over 10 years of DEI. Diverse university faculty hiring and minority faculty recruitment and hiring had gone backwards.
In an email to Campus Tuesday, the Office of the President said they needed to take steps to, quote, reduce overlap, planning to add programs to other divisions at the university. And among those unhappy about the news, State Senator Royce West, who advocated against SB 17 from the very beginning.
Bad as hell. And I hope other people are mad as hell, because if they're not, then what you're getting now is what you're going to continue to get.
And that was our Jayla Washington reporting. On a banner on its website, UT notes the Division of Campus and Community Engagement is being shut down and programs split up, being transferred into other departments and groups, including athletics, Office of Admissions, and more.
See, you know why I wanted to play this? Because some of us don't believe that this type of stuff is real until it hit home. All I'm saying is usually you kind of see the clouds forming. When you start seeing it happen over here and it happened over here, because what they're doing is they're putting, I told y'all, man, they're pencil whooping us. You're putting legislation in place that is going to protect them from doing what it is that they always wanted to do. And these are the ramifications of 45, man. This is the residue of that type of person coming in and literally making all the things that protected you from a discriminatory standpoint as a minority in this country have been removed. Not all of them, but a lot of them have been removed, and we're going down a road. That's why one of the things he said, look, if you're not mad about it, then what you're getting, you will continue to get. And then the other key thing that jumped out at me, the reason I wanted to share this was because they said the anonymous caller was like, they don't see what's happening. So what they were identifying with was that there are Black students on these predominant PWI campuses that are going through it. And you had programs and certain things in place that kind of made them feel comfortable, that kind of protected them. Now what's happening is you're putting yourself in a situation now to where parents are going to have to start making decisions. You can go get that bag, true indeed, but you're going to have to deal with certain things that's going to come with that. And who knows how bad it gets or how much worse it gets. And also, as at HBCUs, we got to be prepared to get out together. So when we start getting that influx of students, we're able to receive them. So when we go back to President Edwards coming on talking about, you know what I'm saying, collaboration, bro. We got to get our stuff together, man. We can't just sit back and watch and wait. We got to be proactive instead of reactive. So I just think this is not just happening with, man, let me tell y'all something. This is real life. And it hit me because I got to say this. My team was extremely diverse. I was on a team where I told y'all it was only 10 of me in the whole United States, in Brother C. Lee. 10. I was on a team of 10 that was all over the U.S. Very diverse group. You know what I'm saying? 3 African-American women, you know what I'm saying? An Arab gentleman, a Hispanic man, you know what I'm saying? It was a very diverse group. They was like, we don't need that no more. And I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to bring that up just because it happened to me. I was just like, I got the call today. I was like, whoa, I was on the phone with Zoe. I was literally on the phone with Zoe, got a call that I ain't recognized, and I was like, who the hell is this? I answered the phone. They was like, hey, this is such. I was like, whoa. Pull over and listen. And I was like, okay. Now, there's some other stuff. I'm okay, don't get me wrong, but I'm not getting into all the specifics. But my point is that a lot of this had a lot to do with that, because I know that, you know, anyway, I'll leave it alone. I'll let y'all jump in there. But this is where we are, man. This is where we're headed. Hey, man. Go ahead, Brother Seeley. Jump on in there.
So I'm going to say 2 things. And I know for a fact that the second thing I'm going to say is going to upset everybody in the chat.
Uh-oh.
And it may even upset Ken and TD.
Oh, boy.
So, but I got to say what I'm going to say, and then we can dialogue how we want to dialogue. So 2 things. What people need to understand, the first thing is they're going to make sure, or they're going to try to make sure, that this doesn't work to the advantage of HBCUs, because at the same time that they are demolishing DEI, they're also sculpting bills to merge and close HBCUs, right? So we can't sit here and say, oh, well, this will help us. No, because while they're fighting the DEI battle, right, we're also fighting being merged or closed. Now, so that's the part we can all agree on. And this is the part where now everybody's going to get upset. I just wanted to have a conversation about it. Ken, I did not know, and I will go back to the beginning of KC-1400. I didn't know that something that my father did and I did, that I was an anomaly. I did not know this. I thought that most of the people, I did not know that I was an anomaly because I have never watched PWI sports in my life. I can count on one hand, TD, the number of PWI games. When I say PWI, I'm not talking about when we play at white school. I mean a game with 2 PWIs. And something else I didn't know, and I'm getting to a point. Something else I didn't know. Again, not saying it's wrong. I'm talking about what I had to come to learn. I did not know that, and want to make sure, because I want to come back after you do this, come back to Brother Jerome's question, because he got a great question. I want to come back to that. But I did not know that I was the only HBCU graduate that didn't have a PWI team. Like, I hear HBCU grads and they'll say, well, LSU is my PWI team, or UConn is my PWI team. I'm bringing that up because I asked this question. How many PWIs have HBCU teams? How many PWI graduates say that such and such is my HBCU team? How many PWI graduates say, and so I'm not sitting, just like I tell people, just because I don't shop outside of Hines County, I'm not telling you not to shop outside of Hines County. I am saying that we need to have a little bit more social, political, and economic consciousness. I'm coming back to that economic consciousness. That right now, along with voting, the only power we have against DEI, the removal of DEI, and the attack on merging HBCUs is economic leverage. And like somebody put in the chat, we got to get back to those old days of understanding, hey, if your company donates to UT, I can't shop at UT. Some of y'all not old enough to remember the whole divest from South Africa movement. But we had a whole list of companies. And if those companies were invested in South Africa, Black people didn't shop there. So we have to start asking ourselves, every time a school removes DEI, we have to ask ourselves, what company where I shop is invested in those places, and what can I do to make sure that my money is not used against me to perpetuate my second-class citizenship? I shut up.
You know what they already banking on, TD? I mean, Brother Seeley. They call out
that we not gonna do it.
We're not gonna do shit about it.
Yeah, that's what they think. They banking on it.
I'm just saying, it's like we can just do what we want to do now.
Yeah.
Because Black people are not. We're not as a whole, as a community. We're not organized.
Yep.
We're not unified.
Yep.
We suffer from probably the most severe case of individualism in the history of our community, in the history of our existence, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of problems that we used to face historically we dealt with them as a group. And now there has been a lot of tactics and different things that have been attacked and infiltrated, that have been imposed on the Black race, that have so many different effects to it. You know, you start with you go all the way back to mass incarceration, you go back into the promotion of individualism, the promotion of independence amongst our strong, because Black women are the now they're the leaders now. Hell, they're most educated, they live the longest, they more self-sustained, and that is an ideology and visual that many have just settled on, because the men have just failed them in a lot of aspects because of lack of whatever. but it's not just, you can't just say that and not talk to how we got there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you go all the way down into stuff like music, now social media, and the programming and the consistent attack. And what'll happen is, again, now you mix that with capitalism. You dangle in a few that look like you that will be allowed to participate in some of this greatness that is considered that, as long as you play the game. And now what happens is those people that now look like you become the ones that you got to fight against, because they'll be the main ones to tell you that ain't nothing wrong. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. This is all I'm gonna say. This, I'm done. And this is what I don't want. And this is the thing that scares me, TD. There is one thing that ain't never happened, and I told Celie this today. There is one thing in this country that this country has never seen, and that's black people say, I no longer give a shit.
Yep.
Follow me on this, bro.
Yep. You're right.
That's something that has never been witnessed. We have always, even in our lowest and our worst, we've always prayed for a better day. We've always said things gonna get better. Boy, you ain't never seen us get to a point of anarchy where it's just like, I don't give a damn no more. Mm-hmm. It's me and you, mano y mano, and I'm willing to die. That's a place that this, I'm just telling you, bro, that ain't that, because if you keep, and this generation that's coming don't give a damn about nothing, man. They really don't. They don't give a damn about nothing.
Yep.
They don't. And then we try. So that's why I was telling you, well, I feel like I got to regroup now, because now it's like the one thing that we said we can unify on. Brother C. Lee said, this is what he said too. He said, what you gonna do when these motherfuckers start penning legislation that says HBCUs is that DEI too?
Yep. That's coming down the pipe.
Now diversity, these schools are as a result of DEI.
Yep.
I'm just saying, it's amazing that you can take something like that and victimize it. That is unbelievable to me, bro. I'm watching this shit and I'm just like, I'm like, bro, is anybody paying attention to this?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, kid. Go ahead, bro. TD.
Come on in here. This is what I was going to say, to kind of add on to what Ken was saying about UT. Now the program that they had on campus to protect those students, now they're about to deal with it even more. So that goes to say, Ken, remember we was talking about that whole situation, I think of Northwestern University, when those young men started complaining about
athletes. Yeah, they fired.
The athletes came out and complained about that. But I'm gonna tell y'all this. This is out of everything that you guys said, this is my most concern, Miss Patrice. This is my most concern. It's not only the people pushing opinions who are getting bold, it's everyday people who are starting to speak and don't care what they say and what you hear.
You're walking into a space of lawlessness, bro.
And you know what? Like the January the 6th thing,
bro. I felt it.
I'm telling you, man.
It's been a long time. I mean, it's been a long time, TD, that I've felt some of the stuff I felt since being home, bro, and like being around certain things. I'm gonna just tell y'all this right here, man. We playing in the golf tournament tomorrow. I borrowed my golf clubs. Boy, I thought I was in the middle. I thought I walked in a Klan rally. I ain't BSing. The energy was horrible, bro. And I was the only meatball in the rice. I was in there getting my clubs though. And just the tonal articulation, everything was just, and I'm looking like, hey man, you gotta understand something. If you put me in a situation, I'm about to eat your face, man. You know what I'm saying? So I saw that video, and I'm not even making this up, man. This is not a joke. I'm telling y'all, it's different now. It's different because TD, you just made a very good point. Everyday people, and that's why you gotta really be on guard now. And this is the part where Well, I keep telling y'all, that dude that was in that office, man, really made things way worse. You thought it was better, but what he did was he made people who knew they had to suppress what they felt. And we say, "Oh, I like my racism front and center. I want to know how you feel." You don't want to live like that, because that's how Jim Crow was. You don't want to live like that. I'm not saying that we would go. We're not going back to that. I don't know how hard they push it. It's going to be a fight on the hand, but I'm just telling you, a lot of different scenarios, because while that's going on, something happens on the internet, and then all you see is people that look like us. You got to fight with them all day, because they're the ones that's leading the charge. People that, and I keep telling y'all, when it comes to HBCUs, we the only institutions where one mistake at one institution, everybody suffers from it.
Yep.
Man, them HBCUs stealing. Man, y'all know them HBCUs. It's never the individual. Hell, Arizona lost $240 million, and it was Arizona. It wasn't all them PWIs. It was Arizona screwed up.
Right.
Somebody lose you know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. And so anyway, we it's dialogue. It's dialogue. I listen, don't get me wrong. I know who's in control. I understand the time we're in. I'm spiritually, you know what I'm saying, grounded. But we're still talking about what's going on. At the end of the day, I'm not losing my stuff because I know who's in control of all this. Go ahead, TD.
Nah, man. Go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say to TD's point, though, is what we said the last time, which is they understand they not having enough babies. You have to understand.
They go to border.
The anti-abortion law, DEI. Yep. All this is because the writing is on the wall. See, well, a lot of black people, TD, don't even know that once you leave Europe and America, white people is a minority on this planet. Now, they got the guns, they got the governments, they got the planes, they got the armies to act like they're a majority. But outside of Europe and America, white people are a minority. And what happened with the election of Barack Obama, here's what sent up the flag, TD. It wasn't just that he got elected. That's not what caused everything. The majority of white men voted against Obama. For the first time in a presidential election, this had never happened before, where the majority of white men vote for something and didn't get what they wanted. That sent up the flag that we are now outnumbered. And so just like, here's the real deal, Ken and TD, what we are faced with for the first time in a long time is a mass of and I want to say, when I say white people, I mean those that are infected with the virus of white supremacy. Not all white people, but we have a mass of white people infected with the virus of white supremacy that they don't care. They have realized that they're about to lose the country, and they would rather burn it down than share control or lose control. So this is their Hail Mary. Like, I need everybody to understand, this is their 2-minute offense. Racist white people in America running a 2-minute offense. They throwing their Hail Mary. Everything that they're doing is because they know in 20 years, unless something radically changes. Remember, I gave a stat last time. In the South, in Florida, Tennessee, in Florida, Texas, Mississippi, Georgia, under 18, majority black. Under 18, majority black. That means when they look down and see their children, they understand. And so all of this, so this gets me to, this lets me get to Brother Jerome's question. Brother Jerome said that wouldn't the anti-DEI hurt PWI programs, undergrad and grad, getting federal funding by not hitting diversity requirements in enrollment? Here's Brother Jerome why it won't. Because those mandates come from the Congress. So if you have, in this case, let's say you have a Republican-controlled Senate and a Republican-controlled House, which luckily we don't. But what they're banking on is maintaining some kind of control in either the House or the Senate. And therefore, those diversity requirements, they're not as tightly controlled. So yes, you are right, Jerome. If you have a Congress that's going to fairly administer and make sure they hit those diversity requirements, but once affirmative action went away, let's be real clear. Once affirmative action was done, everything else is just the effect of that. And so there's no real protection. There's no real DEI protection once affirmative action went away. And so there's actually nothing with any teeth that says you won't get this funding, because they can always counter sue and say, well, isn't that under affirmative action and isn't that connected to DEI? So that's why they're not scared, because they know there's not any teeth in the legislation.
That's why you got to create a angst.
Right.
And what that is now, again, it's hard to do because of the amount of money that's out there. I saw something today that I didn't even put up, and they're actually talking about. See, let me tell you something, man. These folks playing chess, man.
Yep.
They playing chess, TD. They talking about an 80-team league.
Yep.
College football league. Because if you start saying, oh, well, hey, we can take our black athletes. Well, what are you going to do when they create an 80-team super league that does revenue sharing? You follow what I'm saying? Where the schools are allowed to share revenue. Man, every freaking player in the league are gonna want to try to get in one of them schools, because they know if they can make one of those rosters, they get a bag, bro. Just revenue sharing alone. What does that do? That just made HBCUs just officially became D2 after that.
Yep.
We're no longer playing in a game that.
And by the way,
you better tell them, Merch Pack, they playing.
And by the way,
official chess.
When that happens, here's the other part. Here's the other little dark secret we don't talk about with NIL and paying players, TD. When that happens, they will move, because right now they're fighting it. But when that happens, they will move to make these players employees, which means they don't have to give them a degree. See, once you become employee status, you have now, look at it this way. That 80-team league will mean the end of amateurism. You have to understand.
College is dead, man.
We're looking at the end of amateurism. Yep. And once you have the end of amateurism, then they can say to you, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get a year-to-year contract. They may cap it that you can play here for 4 or 5 years because they still want to be a feeder system into the NFL. But you don't get everything else that comes with being a student athlete. You don't get what comes with getting an education. In fact, you're not going to get any of that, which means that psychologically and intellectually, our black athletes won't be prepared to take on the world once they don't make whatever pro sport they're playing. So
your job is to make them money, your education be doomed. Yeah.
Hey, Ken, I want to ask you this, man, because I look at the way it was phrased. Why is it that a former JSU basketball players entered in the portal?
A couple of them are saying that they want to look for a better opportunity.
Why is it a former JSU player? I mean, although that's true, but that's not what they currently are.
Oh,
you mean like a current Jackson? What do you want to say?
No. Okay, what? I don't know the young lady name. In Colorado, Shalimar.
Right.
Okay. So what that is that's called social media engagement. Actually, it's actually a compliment, because what that does, TD, is that allows some HBCU outlets to grab the article and put it out. But if they're going to put that out, they don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to write an article about a Colorado player entering the portal or Deion Sanders' daughter entering the portal. What I'm going to say is a former Jackson State player, because that allows me to now grab that article and put it out there.
But to TD's point, yeah, and you're saying the same thing, Ken, but to TD's point, that just makes us look, that's an attempt also to get their engagement by also making us look bad.
But I'm saying, like, even with the engagement, it's a compliment to us, because it's like, hell, she's Deion Sanders' daughter. If you still got to use the Jackson State connection, that tells you a whole lot about what y'all think about what we're doing.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And that's why I said Jackson State I'm telling y'all, man, forget all the hate. Forget all that other shit, man. Forget the stuff that y'all want to forget. And I understand people that don't like Jackson State. I totally get it. I get it. I understand why. Because, hell, if I want a JSU person, I hate Jackson State too. I get it. We different, y'all. I know we different. I totally understand that. With that being said, Jackson State with Deion Sanders scared the hell out of them people.
Yep, it did.
Because that was the one thing he could have done. He could have literally changed the game with JSU. But it probably would have cost him his life, and he wouldn't have put his life on the line.
Yep.
Right.
There it is.
Because at the end of the day, I'm just telling y'all right now, black folk would have had to tell Deion Sanders, if they touch you, we're going to ride for you. It would have had to be some Farrakhan type stuff, because they don't touch that dude. That dude get on and say all kind of stuff, but they know the Nation of Islam going to ride. And I don't know anything about that. I just know from what I've gathered from outside. So I ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying, speak on that. I'm just telling you, that's what I gather. Either he's some type of plant that they allow to say some stuff, or either he is really protected by the people that he. Now, to your point, some shows ago, you know what makes him not afraid to say what he's saying? Because he's sustained by the Nation of Islam.
Yep.
Sustained his existence.
Yep.
You can't go out here idle and say something dumb and then ain't got no substance. We're gonna be begging for bread. You know what I'm saying? Because we out here on our own. We out here fighting for the cause, and everybody like, man, I gotta go to work, man. I ain't got time for that. Hey, bro, I got kids to feed. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful in what you do and what you say. That's why I appreciate Brother C. Lee saying, when we talk about who we're talking about bigots. We're talking about racist white people. We're not including everybody, because we understand everybody don't have that mindset. And it'll be absolutely just dangerous to say that type of stuff. Because now you're going down a road we're not trying to go down. So when people that don't look like us, or white people that may be supporters of the channel, we're not talking about, if you're not a bigot and a racist that supports these types of thought processes, then hey, we sit this one out. But just listen. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, and it is. I want to say this too. You know, we were speaking on earlier. You were speaking on a young generation and what they're really not caring about. But then, even if you take to what they looking up to, which is, I don't listen to the, you know, get your paper however you want to feel. I don't listen to a lot of modern day rap.
Well,
but the people that the people that they're looking up to,
it's red hot right now.
And look who she interviewing. Look who they hanging out with. Look who they putting C. Lee. Look who they putting their support behind. Yep. And these young people looking at that and say, okay, well, if they far right and they supporting this person, why not I? Because, you know what I'm saying, they don't have a strong foundation to stand on themselves. So they're just going with the flow, you know what I'm saying, and mix up in the way, which goes back to what we've been trying to accomplish, you know, with this platform, and hopefully, you know, with the JSU family period, trying to get on one accord.
Hey, I just we try to fix a spiritual issue that people that are worldly idea, they in position to what? That's true. That's true. But I can take that even a step further, and I'm just not going to do it. This ain't the roster for it. It's not the right platform to go down a certain path.
I'll say this, TD. Was it last week? I did the article on the mythological people of color coalition. And I talked about how, you know, how I've never really used the term people of color. And I broke down in the article about why, when we try to say, you know, Hispanics, Asians, African Americans, and we try to group that in, and why that isn't really a true notion. That's more of a myth. Well, in that, I talked about us taking some blame, because, you know, I'm always come back to the Negro ineptitude. So coming to what you said, TD, what I said in that article was, the combination of ignorance and and this is a quote from the article. I said the combination of ignorance and self-hatred is what produces a whole bunch of gangbangers and sexy reds out there capping for Trump. That's why you got gangbangers and sexy red capping for Trump, because of the combination of ignorance and self-hatred. And so whether it's this show or whether it's, the decision that each one of us have to make, basically, TD, is a decision that you, Ken, Zoe, Sister Rochelle, and Marcus make every day. Y'all make the decision every day. Are y'all going to keep doing what y'all do as KC-1400 media, even though it's hella difficult? Every day. And you make that decision. Hold on a second. Y'all make that decision every day. Y'all get up every day. You know how difficult it is. We think we know. Let me be clear. We think we know. But we don't really know everything. And the same way that you guys make that decision, we have to keep having this conversation so more Black people continue to fight against this, even though we know we still got an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And that's why this platform is important. I'll tell you how important this platform is. I just thought about this. Platform is so important that somebody who's a follower of this platform watches your platform, watches you guys' platform religiously. Saw me talking about the work my wife does. She works for the Jackson State, I want to get it right. She works for the Jackson State Mississippi Urban Research Center. They were having a major conference today on census and digital data. So shout out to Sister Kenya Dotson, who watches the show religiously, and Dr. Sam Mosey, who is the head of the Jackson State Mississippi Urban Research Center, who invited my wife to that very important workshop on census and digital data, because you know the work that my wife does around. That's how important this platform. That's why when we say, why do we keep talking? Why do we keep doing it? Because again, we gotta have that mentality. I know I keep using it, people get sick of me using it. We gotta have that mentality of that little child on that beach. You may not can throw but one starfish back into the water, but that's one starfish that was thrown back into the water that wouldn't have been thrown into the water had you not thrown that starfish into the water. And so I want to implore everybody, no matter how frustrating it gets. Hell, I sit up here, I get angry sometimes. I'm like, damn, all this damn writing I'm doing, all this damn traveling I'm doing, does it make any difference? And when I have my wife say, oh, I was at this thing because the sister saw Ken them, she watched Ken them, they had me come over. I know Sam Mosey from the highlight days, Ken.
Yeah.
So Dr. Mosey, who is over the Mississippi Research, that's from the highlight days of reading poetry. That's why I keep saying, that's why no matter how many times I keep pushing economics, economics, economics. Y'all know I am the least hip hop person on the planet, but I'm gonna say something Tupac said. Tupac said, I may not have the answer, but damn it, if I keep talking about the problem, maybe somebody smarter than me will come up with the solution. I don't know, TD, I don't know how to convince Black people that economics is our key, but I'm gonna keep talking about economic leverage that needs to be coupled with voting until enough Black people understand that our economic power, not giving our money to stores and schools. Look, every time you get ready to watch something on television, ask yourself, am I giving these ratings to somebody who's going to use the money from my ratings to perpetuate my second-class citizenship? Am I spending my money with somebody who's going to use my money to perpetuate my second-class citizenship?
We don't need something way bigger than that, bro.
Hey, listen, I just saw a conversation on the internet today about a young man challenging the Black church with I won't go into it, but it was such a profound conversation that I was like, who is this brother? I'm at the point now, y'all, to where I'm going for the gusto with folks that we trying to have dialogue with. And I reached out to David Banner. Hell, he didn't respond, but I reached out to him. So I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere. Maybe somebody on the platform knowing. We want to get him on the channel. Because we understand that we really gonna take this thing to the next level, man. I did something this week, and I gotta say this, and then we'll get ready to shut it down. But I didn't know that this is what I'd be doing, and I didn't know that this is who I'd be doing it with. And like I said, ain't nothing like the great confirmation, man. When you already have what you need and you get pushed into something. I hate talking about me, but I'm just saying this platform was made for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And I trust God, man. And I'm highly encouraged. It ain't easy, brother C. Lee. I had tension before the show tonight. I had a lot. It was a lot happening. So much so that I had to just kind of like box. I had too much happening. My brain was moving faster than everything, you know, and it just kind of overwhelmed me a little bit. But it's gonna get better because even that's gonna happen. Because but I'll say this, man. I want to thank everybody that has supported this platform. You know, a lot of the things that we've done hasn't been really identified or recognized from on the on the books at JSU. So I made sure to do the work this week to get all of that stuff. And I'm happy to report that. I mean, I submitted about $73,000 in receipts and things that we've done through the platform for in-kind donation consideration for tax purposes. And that's not to include NIL. When you factor it in, we're staring at almost $200,000 in over a year and a half through it. And it's like, we got to make this thing be more tangible and more like, I can't let my lack of wanting to be seen. I don't want to be seen. I don't want recognition. I don't want all that. But I can't allow my thought that I can be selfish in that space and then mess around and let all the work that we're doing be invisible because we're not doing it in a way that will make it be identified. So I had to change course on that and go do the work that's necessary. So, you know, I appreciate the university for that. But at the end of the day, we're going to do it our way. Because if we have to do it our way, because if we conform and start doing what others are doing, then we no longer are our authentic selves, man. So all I can really just do is just ask that we take the motivation from these conversations and use it. You don't know where to use it, well, start here. Start supporting the platform. If you're a regular on the channel, I ask you to join the channel. Yeah, hell, I don't own YouTube. Yeah, YouTube owned by somebody that don't look like me. But we're gonna use their vehicle to drive where we trying to go. You know what I'm saying? So every little bit helps, and at the same time, in no way are we standing in front of what we do. We're here to support everything. If we gain, if President Edwards gains some new memberships to the National Alumni Association from tonight, then the mission is accomplished, man. You win.
Got one.
I knew that because TD said it already. I was saying, we had questions about membership. Hell, well, guess what? We got 500 people looking. I know everybody, all 500 ain't logged in. So hey, let's make it. You got to be about the change because, like I said, we don't want to be that group that don't do nothing but complain and explain, and we don't ever get active. That's not how we get down. That's not how we work. That's not how we do. And a lot of people, Brother C. Lee, don't look at me, man. It's a group. That group, heavy emphasis on group. Man, you can make KC so damn small that it's invisible. It's just a bookmark. Seriously, just call it 1400 media. You see how I did that? I'm saying,
and you know what, Ken? You know,
talk on
President every point, man. She's very visible. You know, at all the football games.
All the time.
You'll see it at the tailgates, you know what I'm saying? You'll see it in the stands, and you know, she's very friendly, she's very approachable. You know what I'm saying? It's not that out carrying a title with an arrogant look or an arrogant walk. She wear the t-shirts and the jeans, you know what I'm saying? She with her family, And like I said, she's very approachable. So, man, I appreciate her coming up. And like I said, if there any members out there that's not a member of the alumni chapter here in Jackson, join me and let's sign up.
TD gonna take that move. Look at that. Look at what it said? Changing lives, changing minds, and changing lives, or something like that. I don't have it in front of me. After midnight. Hey, look, I gotta get up early, man. We're gonna be playing golf in the morning.
I'm gonna end on this. TD, as Ken has said before, the reason you're important is because a good question is always better than a dumbass statement. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that a good question is always better. And I'm not gonna break it down, but I'm gonna end on this. Socrates invented the Socratic mode of questioning, right? Socrates invented the Socratic mode of questioning, which is answering a question with a question. Can anybody guess who made it popular? Socrates invented it, but who made it popular? And I'm gonna surprise you when I tell you who made it popular. So Socrates invented the Socratic mode of questioning, which is answering a question with a question to get more information. If you go look at what's written down, the person who used it and made it popular was Yeshua. That tells you that critical thinking is important to every aspect of your life, which is why the Apostle Paul said, come let us reason rightly together. He didn't say, come let me indoctrinate you. He didn't say, come let me talk at you. Paul said, come let us reason rightly together. And part of reason rightly together is asking the type of questions so we can get the kind of answers that will move us forward. And that is why, TD, you are always appreciated. And that is why Ken, KC-1400 Media is always appreciated for this. I'm going to shut up because it's 12:34 where I am. And I got to get up. Thursday is the only morning I don't go jogging. Thursday morning, I still get up at 5, but I cut the grass. So
let me add something before you go, because I want to add a little bit of context to what you just said about TD. You know why I appreciate a lot of his questions? It's hard to ask questions when you are in the know on a lot of stuff about what you're talking about. A lot of the questions that he asks are from an honest place of wanting to know.
Yep.
And sometimes I always appreciate that, and that's why I yield to him, because it's not somebody asking a question. Sometimes he'll do that. That ain't the same thing. You know, sometimes he'll ask a question to engage. Hell, sometimes he asks a question to keep Zoe up. Zoe be falling and say, hey, Zoe, let me ask you. I know, I see it. It's clear day. That's my, it's all good. We do that. You know what I'm saying? Engagement. But sometimes it's like, bro, he asks a real question because that's what he really want to know. And it's a lot of people want to know that. And for me, it's always easy to just revert and fall back and just listen, because sometimes you can know, and then and because you know a little bit, it's hard to ask questions about it. Mm-hmm. So you tend to just, I always ask good questions when I really don't know, because I'm asking it from a very inquisitive spot. I'm curious. I really want to know that. Other than that, I'm just scripted, and I don't like scripts. Scripts make me nervous. So I don't, I like the raw, real, and, just the unfiltered thing. I don't want to do it if it feels like work. That's the only way we can sit on a damn screen for 3.5 hours and talk about different things relative to the same thing. 3 days a week. I told y'all on the Twitter today this was going to be a long show. I knew it already. Now, what y'all don't know is that we probably not going to have a Friday show. That's why I went long tonight. So I was okay with going long tonight because we do have the donor reception. Don't forget, you guys, starting on tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, Friday. You got the Gym Jam, high school bands face off with the Boom Fest. We got the day with the Boom, the high school preview day, and then you got obviously the second round of auditions. That's going to be the same day as that's going to be Sunday. But spring game is on Saturday. But these are some specifics. I wanted to make sure I say this, and then we done on this. Saturday, Gates will open at 1 p.m. The game is at 3 p.m. It is free. It is free. Admission is free. There is no cover charge to get into the spring game. You can only enter in from the visitor side. So for those that need to know,
that's my side. Just so y'all know, that's Cindy's side. Come on over there by me. All right.
General parking will be $10 on game day. So if you haven't gotten parking passes, they've already put out the information about the tailgate stuff. So if you ain't bought that already, you probably ain't gonna do it. But we'll be out there. Hey, listen, man. Listen, if y'all tailgating, we looking for some golden fish.
What?
If y'all hey, listen, we ain't doing no. I'm telling y'all right now, we ain't doing no live shows on Saturday. We ain't doing none of that. What we are gonna do, and I want to shout out Craig from the Jersey Wave. We looking to collaborate with him. He got some NIL deals with some players. We trying to partner with him. Either it'll be on Friday or it'll be on Saturday. We more than likely it'll be Friday. So shout out to the Jersey Wave. Shout out to Craig. We trying to help him and help those players get paid, man. That's what we're doing a little bit that we can do. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to touch on. Again, I want to thank Coach Rod for coming on to talk some baseball with us. I want to thank President Patrice Edwards for coming on and spending some well-needed time for the dialogue and the conversation regarding just Jackson State National Alumni Association and all the many different nuances with that, as well as the election. Thank Brother C. Lee for coming up, always having the thought-provoking and necessary conversations, man. Like I said, look, we're going to be – I plan on getting clean. Look, we got Tiger Talk interviews on Friday. We got recruiting visitations coming in, and we're going to be doing that. So chances are y'all not going to see us on screen on Friday. If some change, it might be a brief late show after the donor reception. I don't know yet, but don't hold your breath on it. So I hope y'all enjoyed the show tonight. Listen, man, if y'all want to support the platform, if you don't want to make a donation, you can join the channel. Click the link to join in the description. If you want to donate to the platform, listen, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, Givelify, however you want to do it. We collected a total of $11,000 for Coach Tamika Reed in women's basketball. Kudos to everybody for that. But we're going to hold that until we figure out what's going on. Yeah, it's okay. But again, because I want her to tell us how she wants us to do it. So, and you know, I hope she stays. I think she's staying. But hell, I ain't putting no stock in it because you never know how it goes. That's why I told y'all I'm conundrumed over here with that. You know, she deserves whatever she decides to do again, and it comes down to what she want to do. We're gonna support her regardless. We love her, and we want her to stay. So hopefully that's there. We saw some leaked information of potential contract opportunities or potential contract that may be whatever, but we're not touching that. We'll wait to see what the AD, again, congratulations to AD Robinson for being leader of the year. That's all I got. TD, you got anything?
Tiger Nation, good night. Thank you, Brother C. Lee. Appreciate your
shit. Anytime. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I love. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Hey.